What's up?
Hey, JD's
Look who it
here.
is.
Out of
Hey,
nowhere.
JD. Hey.
Look.
Oh, that's a nice shirt, JD.
Who are the chefs?
The Charlestown Chiefs.
You have a
Oh,
Pete's got a porn doll.
what's going on here with Pete?
He's got a sex tape doll.
It's a crash test dummy. There you go.
This is Yoda's choice.
Wait, JD, we
JD,
can't,
can you hear?
we can't hear you, JD.
Can't hear you, JD.
Oh, that's Yoda's choice.
That's classic.
Wait, you have the wrong show, Pete. That's for guilty pleasures. That's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's like don't tell anybody you really like to watch that movie.
Welcome to movie night.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Can hear
Yes.
you now.
There you go.
Hey, we got a fan of your shirt, John. Wait, do you want to go by John or JD?
Either one is cool. John's cool. Catherine, I just want to give a shout out to Catherine. That is my girlfriend.
Hey,
She's a movie and music and game fan.
far out,
Nice.
Good to see you.
and she's a John fan too.
I guess so.
I guess so. These things happen. These things happen.
Tonight we're doing Desert Island movies or movies you would like to watch for the rest of your life. And
Yeah, like if somebody said you're going to be locked in this room for X amount of time and you only get 6 movies or 7 in Lance's case because he's an overachiever. No, he knew that some of us might be doubling up, so he was like, in case we all got stuck in a room together.
Some
then,
of it.
anyone remember?
some
Anyone remember
of
the
us-
episode of the Office where they did Desert Island games?
No.
Do you remember
Wow.
Dwight's his favorite movie for Desert Island? The Crow.
The
The
Crow.
Crow.
Interesting.
Great movie.
Okay.
Oh, can I clear the air for something really quickly with Papa Pete? I just want to
Sure.
congratulate he and the Bruins. No hard feelings.
Right on that.
You were outplayed. Just want to get that out of the way.
We JD and I have been texting back and forth on Messenger there all during that series. It was a lot of ups and downs through that series. Like the first 3 games went to overtime.
Yeah.
So it was close, man. It was a great series. It's 2 good teams, but nowadays all 16 teams are good teams. Well, 15 out of 16 teams are good. Then you have Montreal. So
There you go.
How are the Blues doing?
they are about 2 handicap.
Yeah, they got a rough comeback. They're going to make it. Oh, they were 4 and out, right? That was fast.
Yeah. Colorado's
That's
a
my
good team,
son.
though. They're a favorite. There, it's all set up. Your beer beside your movie, Stu.
Oh, well, I know if it turns from sour to stanky, I know why. So,
Right on.
damn it, I told him not to put it there. Either that or it'll be super sexy because it's not the movie.
So everyone in chat, go ahead and send us your movies, and we'll talk about them. Maybe.
Pete, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking, for right now, a Picaroons Blonde Ale.
Oh, what's
Which
on the
is a
label?
beer. It's like, hold up a little bit closer there. It's like a sort of a rustic looking portrait of, looks like a lady on a ship.
Okay, I was going to say it kind of looked like a person.
On a wharf, standing beside a ship like a fishing boat. So,
It's a wharf woman.
wharf woman.
Got to watch out for those wharf women. I'm having a
Wharf rats as
lapwing.
opposed to the truck stops with the lot lizards.
Mine's a lapwing from
Nice.
Sketchbook Brewery up in Skokie, Illinois.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's like a Scottish ale. It's really good.
I've got some tap water that's been filmed.
Where the heck did you get that? Look at my camera. You threw my camera all off.
Your camera got all excited.
It's a
God.
Pinot Brita.
Pinot Brita. I can't do this right tonight. I don't know. This is like stupid. You know,
Stupid.
so stupid. So let's get started with what we all talk about so often.
Yep.
I've already watched the
Hey, Rich.
first disc of
Rich, how you
WKRP.
doing?
Rich.
Did ya?
Rich. Yeah. Well, it's great so far. You had the Thanksgiving one. You
Yes,
had,
Catherine.
the hold up at the stereo shop. You had the heck no, we won't go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what
The Battle
else?
of the
Oh,
Mascots.
that one I haven't gotten to yet. It's not in the first 8 episodes, so
Okay.
I'm moving.
Oh, okay.
But it was interesting in that one scene where I was talking about labels. Me and John, you probably know about labels. Lance, I don't know if you know. Do you know? We hit on the same things a lot of times. You and John and me. So like Epic Records, like he put on a Casablanca label and spins it, and it starts playing Queen of the Forest by Ted Nugent. And I'm like, yeah, that's okay. So that's a geeky. John told us tonight. He goes, I've got a lot of useless information. I'm like, welcome to the club. And then immediately right after that, they have another Casablanca record rolling, and they're playing Bob Seger, which is another epic artist. And I'm like, still Casablanca label, and that's not an orange epic label right there. So
I gotta ask though, did anybody? I as soon as
It was
Stu
a stud
said
record.
that, I said, only Stu would notice that, man. Kudos. to
well,
you.
and that's the
That's
beauty
awesome.
of this. That's the beauty of this team of guys right here, because we all love that, and at the same time, you pull so many things out of it, and Jeff will pull some stuff out, and Lance and John, and there's a couple of us that'll pull certain things together, and we're like, oh, like I just noticed today there's an angel poster in the background for On Earth as It Is in Heaven.
Huh.
And it's very minimal when you're watching it in that first season. It's on the sidewall because there was the Kiss poster behind his desk,
This wall.
which
Yeah.
changed to an ELO poster before the end of the first 8 shows. But on that sidewall where they come in behind the couch, behind the file cabinets, there's this thin strip, and it has the On Earth as It Is in Heaven album cover, and then a picture of the whole band, their heads going across above the cabinets. So
I don't know which of you
push
guys
up my
have
glasses.
haven't, but I gotta ask. I've gone through the whole first season now. Did anybody have problems with their discs when you got to the last 2 episodes on the disc? Skipping.
That's what I was.
Disc did not do it. The second and third disc both did it on the second from last and last.
Okay.
Sort of seized up like it was too compressed. Anybody else
I
have
had a
that
problem
issue?
on the second disc of season 1, and then in season 2, the second and the third disc, I think. But it was just brief skips. So I tried to clean the laser, and it helped
Same
a little.
Yeah, same here. But I think that's just trying to get as much as I can on those discs.
Are you guys watching them on a game system, or are you watching them on a DVD player?
I'm watching them on an old DVD VCR combo, so that could be part of the problem too. If I had better quality, like a Blu-ray player or something, it may pick up like that, right?
Yeah, it could
You guys talking
be.
about
Or,
WKRP?
what's
Yes.
that?
Okay.
Has yours gotten there yet, Jeff?
Almost. It's in transit.
Well, see, for me, I'm watching mine on a Blu-ray player, but it's an upscaling one. So I didn't know if it was trying to do something,
Okay.
And just little half-second, little, fade to black kind of thing.
Oh,
It's annoying, but it still plays.
Is it available on Betamax? I still have my Betamax.
Oh,
Do you
that's
really?
awesome.
Yes, sir. You gotta love that.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been watching it on my PS4. So, but it is true though. Some of those systems, though, the older ones will work with those better than these new ones, because the new ones are too finicky for whatever reason. And
The only Blu-ray players I have are a PS4 and an Xbox One. That's it. I don't have an actual just dedicated one.
I do. I have a Blu-ray player upstairs. So, yeah.
I've got too many of them, I think.
Well, I've got 2 DVD, maybe 3 DVD players that are just sitting around upstairs. I'm like,
I gave one away, a Blu-ray player away here not a couple weeks ago. Just my brother has broke down or whatever like that. He doesn't have a whole lot of tech, like game system or anything like that. He just has Blu-ray player that he had for probably 10 years stopped working. So I was like, I got one here somewhere, and I went and grabbed one. I was like, here you go. I still have 3 more because I was buying the 3D Blu-ray players and all this stuff in anticipation of getting the 3D TV, which I never ended up getting. I got 15, 20 movies that will do it, but I haven't got the TV. Talk about a splash in the pan technology, right?
well, yeah, that's like the DivX. Remember wasn't it DivX that was out?
DivX.
Or what was it?
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember buying that, and then nothing ever happened with it. I didn't do anything else with it. Never bought anything for it, but I know my nephew had a 3D TV take a crap on him.
Oh, really?
And and I'd even gotten him the 3D version of Top Gun.
Oh,
Nice.
There's a 3D version of Top Gun.
Yes. On Blu-ray. Yeah. And I don't know if they still sell it, but I'm sure somebody's probably got it out there. But I flipped out. I got it, and I found it cheap in the cheap bin at Walmart.
Wow. When is
For
the new Top Gun
$5.
coming out? It's delayed and delayed and
They
delayed.
keep pushing it back. I don't know. Let's see. Google's.
I didn't even know there was one coming out.
Oh, and
I'll
I'm
have to
gonna
watch the first one before the new one comes out.
wait a minute, Jeff.
Wait, what? You haven't seen it?
No,
Really?
You've never seen Top Gun?
no.
That was what, 86?
Yeah.
Okay.
Google says
got a
November
backlog.
19th.
What'd you
What
say?
does it say?
Google for the new Top Gun movie released November 19th.
Oh, just in time for my birthday.
okay.
That's great.
I think that should be a new contest today. If everybody has their list of movies that they take to a desert island, how many of each of our movies has Jeff actually seen?
Oh,
we should
bonus
take-
points. Bonus points for that.
If we're going to do 5 each, so I've got 20 here. What do you think? What's the over and under of what I've seen from you for your movies?
10.
10? Oh, I bet you it's way lower than that.
You think so?
4.
You're probably pretty close.
5.
And I don't know what you guys even picked, but I'm thinking it's going to be around 5 or so.
And I've
Well,
got
Jeff-
10 movies.
I have a quick technical question. This is supposed to be a desert isle. Okay, we've chosen our movies.
Yep.
What is exactly powering the device that is
That's exactly why I came up with what I did.
When
And
you look up, there's a huge solar panel right there.
You're on the island with the professor. He's created.
He's created a solar panel? Is that?
He's got a DVD
All right.
player for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, see,
He's-
if it was us, we'd all have game systems, and the game systems could.
Oh, Lance froze right in the middle of his line.
Oh, perfect. No, I said we'd all have video game systems, and then we'll all be able to play a movie, no problem.
That's right.
Yep.
DJC just gave us all of his movies in one comment.
Yeah, it was like blah.
I'm assuming
There
he
you
means
go.
Back to the Future one.
DJC is done. Did he spoil anybody's movies?
Whoops. Let's see. No.
Did he spoil
No.
any? I'm not gonna say.
Yeah, I'm not going to say either, but there are some movies in there that I had to cut out because of the. It was tough whittling down to 5.
It is, and you have to think about all the different reasons and the things that you want. That's why earlier today, because I've said that before to people, and they're like, "Well, if you're on a deserted island, how are you going to power it? And what are you going to? You know what? I'm going to say you're going to get locked away for a year or more. And what movies do you want to have?
It's just a term, people. Don't
I know.
don't lose your minds.
Yeah.
Don't overanalyze.
Don't worry,
No,
John. We'll send somebody out to kick your ass.
So
No, but on that list, I will say
Jay
there was 3 of them. that I had, but I said, nope, go a different direction.
JD, are
those
you
I
spoiling?
did that too. Went totally different direction. Stuff kind of off the wall. Yeah.
JD,
Yeah.
are you spoiling one of your movies here with your shirt?
Maybe yes.
Forecasting.
Forecasting.
Yeah, but have you seen the second and third ones? Those were.
I have. No, I saw the second one. The third one I couldn't get myself to. It was just that was horrid.
I saw the first 5 minutes and I shut it off.
There were 2 sequels of Slapshot.
Yeah.
Yes.
One was with Billy Baldwin, I think. One of the
Billy Baldwin, Gary Busey.
I'm
But
surprised.
the Hanson brothers were in it for a hot minute.
Yeah. Without Paul Newman, though, it's a no-go.
Yeah.
Chuck, we're going around 5 movies. If we have more, that's fine. But we're thinking around 5.
I have 105.
Whoops.
There you go. A large battery inverter and a large solar panel.
Hey, where there's a will, there's a way.
Damn straight.
The answer to the trilogies is no.
No.
There's
I did, and
You have to pick
Catherine,
one movie out of a series.
Catherine, I did ask that question, and I tried to manipulate the rules to accommodate a certain sci-fi epic.
By the way, our regular movie night co-host Barr was not able to be here. He's on vacation. Maybe he's on a desert island watching some movies
With a solar panel and a
right.
battery inverter. Did he tell you he was going to take a battery inverter with him?
I have one.
You may have said that.
But do you plan on that though? Do you when you're going someplace? Are you planning on getting marooned?
A 3-hour tour? What?
I could just see Jeff now. Every time Bar's going to go on vacation, I have 2 words for you, Bart: battery inverter.
Does anybody get
2
extra
more
points?
solar panel.
Does anybody get extra points for choosing movies like Castaway and Gilligan's Island, Harlem Globetrotters on Gilligan's Island, any island theme?
Wouldn't that be? That's like watching Airplane while you're flying. You know, it's like
What is it? Joe versus the volcano. Wasn't that the one with Tom Hanks where he's stranded with the tribe on the
Yeah. Well, I'd rather watch
Meg Ryan.
Airplane than Airport. If you remember Airport, like 79, and I'd much rather watch Airplane.
There was like
I'd
5 or
rather
6
run
of
out
those airport movies.
Oh yeah.
I'd much rather run out of coffee than run out of fuel.
DJ C just mentioned something that maybe we should do one day. I wouldn't mind doing a TV show, episode here at some point. That'd be fun.
Any genre? That'd be cool.
Yep.
Hey, Anthium's here.
Hey, Anthium.
Anthium.
And it says the airport. Film series. There was 4 airport movies.
I saw all of them.
4? Okay.
Yeah, there was Airport, and then 75, 77, and then the Concorde 79. The only actor who appeared in all 4 films, go for it.
Karen Black.
No.
Oh, is that George Kennedy?
Yeah. Oh yeah, George Kennedy. Good call.
Yep. Yeah, because we were just talking about those today. Because a coworker of mine and good friend of mine, she enjoys natural disaster films, and I'm talking about Back to the Irwin. And she's my son's age, and she likes going back to those Irwin Allen films. And then I asked her if she'd ever seen.
Oh yeah.
And she said no. I said, well, it's PG. I could bring it in tomorrow for school, and the kids could watch it. So I don't. She hasn't gotten back to me yet. But
I have that over there too.
I'm not a big natural disaster film fan. However, Twister, and Stu probably knows why. I'm
yeah, because of the guitar behind you and the amp.
A certain
Humans Being was in that.
Yep, and Respect the Wind, the title instrumental.
That's right. That's right. That is correct.
Jeff, have you seen Twister?
No.
Swing and a miss.
We need to have a swing and a miss sound effect.
Hey, Stu, we need your board. We got to keep score.
I can say that the 5 movies I've listed, actually 6, I have actually seen. So I'm not making.
I was going to say, yeah. Earlier today, Jeff messaged us and he said, "I've got 6 films on my list," and I go, "Wait, have you even seen 6 films?" There goes my joke. I can't even say it. 6 films. Oh my God. So bad. Well, how do we want to start this thing? And I think what we're going to do next month, I think we decided prior that we're going to do something that I said to Jeff we could have coupled with this one, but we won't. We'll save it for next month. Is going to be guilty pleasure films. And not like guilty pleasure films, but guilty pleasure films. Not Rise of Skywalker.
What?
Pete's sex tape. Not your sex tape, Pete.
Now, Poseidon Adventure, I have seen.
Nintendo, they have Xbox.
Sorry.
Okay. So now they made 2 of those, right? They made the newer one in the 90s. Is that right?
Yeah, there was a new one. I didn't see that one. I saw the old one with the.
Yeah.
Was that Shelley Winters?
Yeah.
Yes. And what was the big hit song from that movie?
Oh.
It was sung by a female.
What was it again, Stu? I'm sorry, I was.
Poseidon Adventure, the big hit song from that movie during the final credits.
Pete, are you watching a different channel while
Who,
we're on
me?
this video? Yeah.
Who, me? Would I do that?
I think you're watching someone else's show.
Oh, I thought you said he had money on a game.
Is that the token dick move of the show?
I'm thinking that it's either hockey or he's looking up movies.
I'm going to start looking at other shows. I want to see if you're commenting on them.
Did you say movies or boobies?
That's a terrible friggin' sound effect. I'll try and find sound effects, okay?
How about let's let JB go first, since he's the newest to this group here.
Sounds good. Well, let's just start with. Let's start with honorable mentions. If you have a couple extra to narrow down before you get to 5,
Okay.
and then just get all your extra ones out of the way first that you had to rule out, like however many, and then we'll rotate around and do our 5. How's that sound?
You know,
That
I like
sounds
that, but
good.
what if, for 5, what if somebody else has one? Like, let's
That's going to
say,
happen no matter what, right?
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Man, this is tough. Okay, so John, go ahead. You start with your honorable mentions. Do you
All
have
right.
any?
My honorable mentions, starting with 100, counting down.
See you tomorrow, folks.
Now, these are the ones that I have a rationale for all the ones that I picked, but these other ones were really tough. So Airplane would have been my 6th.
Cool.
One of my all-time favorites, one of the most quotable movies. My coworkers and I constantly doing that. Just some of the best gags ever. And honestly, even Airplane 2 was great, but Airplane, the first one was great.
Nice pick, Jive.
Ferris Bueller. That was really, that one hurt to cut out.
Uh-huh.
Mystery Alaska, who was, did you guys see Mystery Alaska?
I've watched it years ago.
Oh, I love that movie. The guy that did Ally McBeal and I can't think of his name. David. He plays hockey. The producer. Anyway, it was a great movie.
Lynn?
A lot of people were in it, like Michael Myers. Burt Reynolds was in it. Russell Crowe. Fun movie.
Wow.
Kind of an offbeat. The Muppet movie. That's one I can watch all the time. Like
The original one?
The original one, the first one. And that was one of the first DVDs I purchased. I think it was that and Blade Runner, actually. Kind of an odd combo, but
that's awesome.
You're not kidding.
And then the last 2 for now, Better Off Dead. And again, Stu probably understands the Van Halen connection there, but just a great movie. And then, of course, you got to pick Star Wars. And it's cut out of frame here in this glare, but I stole Catherine's Star Wars poster that's in her fan page, and it's now temporarily in here. So those are my alternate picks, but I mean, just I could list so many.
Yeah. That's cool props for the Muppet movie. I mean, I
love that original movie.
Yeah, I would not even have thought of that. Nor did I even put any. I don't think I have any. I don't think I have any family films in mind. I mean, I have one that could be a family film, but that's crazy.
But it's kind of, I guess, I mean, other than, I mean, obviously growing up with Sesame Street and the Muppet Show, but like, it's one of those things, like if you're in music or entertainment or whatever, and you're like, you want to make it, you know, it's that like road, that hell road to stardom kind of thing. And, you know, very few people make it. So it's kind of, you know, has a theme that kind of plays out throughout your life. Plus, it's a fun movie. It's the Muppets.
I dig it. I dig it. Lance, what do you have for some close calls?
So these are the ones that did.
Oh, he's dropping out again.
Close calls. I'll go quickly Down Under. Hello.
Great movie. Underrated.
Yeah.
Quickly Down Under. Tom Selleck. It's an underrated Western. And Tom Selleck.
Lance.
It's amazing. And look at it. Oh.
Not hearing of
internet. Hello.
There you go.
You're back.
My internet, I can see it cycling up and down. Darn AT&T. But no.
Down Under.
Yeah, quickly Down Under. The movie was originally set to be a movie for Steve McQueen, but he was too sick to film it. It was for 1980. And then they tried several times to bring it back. They considered Harrison Ford and some other actors. Harrison Ford turned it down because he was doing Indiana Jones at the time. They offered it to Tom Selleck in '85. He turned it down because he was doing Magnum. And then when that series ended, he got the role. So it's an excellent underrated Western.
Quickly,
be worth it. I think it's a couple hours long.
Because didn't Steve McQueen do The Hunt? Was The Hunter the last movie that he did?
Yes.
Yeah, and that was 1980, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think Tom Horn was right before that.
Yes. Yeah.
Love Steve McQueen.
Yeah, amazing.
So many great ones. Great Escape. That narrowly missed my.
Still one of my favorite parts of Eddie Izzard's shtick when he's talking about The Great Escape. He goes, James Garner and another character get in a plane and they take off and they're going to the front. And then Steve McQueen on a motorcycle, and he gets to the front before the plane.
I saw that on Heart to Heart, where Mr. Hart chased down a speedboat with a jet ski. It was very impressive.
And impossible.
Steve McQueen with the chase scenes. I mean, like Bullet. I mean, legendary.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Absolutely.
Fastback.
Hey, Fastback. And then another one that didn't make my top 5. You got to have a Christmas movie, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Die Hard.
I thought you said a Christmas movie.
That is a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Yes. Bruce Willis and Alan Rickman again. Originally, it was supposed to be a sequel to a Frank Sinatra film. Believe it or not.
Wow.
Yes. Old novel kind of deal. And a lot of actors were given, the producers were going after different actors before they got to Bruce Willis. The role was offered to, I got it here, Sylvester Stallone, Harrison Ford, Robert De Niro, Charles Bronson, Nick Nolte, Mel Gibson, Richard Gere, Don Johnson, Burt Reynolds, and yes, even MacGyver, Richard Dean Anderson. They were all offered the lead of that movie.
Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
And Bruce Willis was pretty much a flop as a leading man. He starred in Sunset and Blind Date. But somehow his manager got him, his agent got him a deal. He was paid $5 million for the role, which was huge.
Jeez. I always find it interesting to see who didn't get roles or who turned down roles of famous movies, and then try to imagine those movies with those people in.
Yes. All right. Is he going to come back? Come on, Lance. Where is he?
He is frozen.
He's frozen.
Yeah.
I think that was the end of his.
I thought it was too. That was the end of his.
Let's go with Pete.
Ready?
Yep.
All right.
Do you have a stack like I do of up and comer up or?
I took
the ones
it was
that were
a hard
close?
time sort of narrowing these down because these on another given day could be my number ones today, or my number 1 through 5 really. But looking at it today, and there's a reason for each one that I have in my top 5 too. But they aren't even.
Okay.
You know what? Not one of these are going to be in my top 5. Like when I get to the actual top 5, not one of them are going to be in my top 5 favorite movies. But there's things that are about them that I can just watch them over and over and over again. You know.
Yes,
But anyway,
right.
the first one that I couldn't include, but I had a hard time narrowing out was Escape from New York. I just love that movie.
Snake Plissken.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. And there's something about it, here it is, future and the past all at the same time. Now that I remember seeing it, it was something else.
And it has scenes filmed here in St. Louis.
Is that right?
Nice.
On the bridge was Chain of Rocks Bridge, wasn't it?
Yes, and then the fight
okay.
scene in the ring was at Union Station.
Yeah, I think you've told me that before on here.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to show two at once because I love Kevin Smith. I really do like him very much. And these are two of my favorite ones. I love Clerks. I love Mallrats. But to me, Dogma is the best movie. And
Really?
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is probably the most watchable, laughing, quotable, fun movie. So those two movies right there are awful easy to watch over and over again.
Did you like Clerks?
Did I like what one?
Clerks.
I love Clerks. Yeah, very much. Yeah, back even when it first came out, not long after it came out in the early 90s, we founded a video store, and ever since,
Oh, that's great.
A movie that I could never flip past when I'm turning, although it's becoming less and less of a thing, turning through the TV station, seeing what's on.
Yes.
But I always had to stop on Forrest Gump. There's just something about that movie that I could watch it over and over and over again, whether it's the music or the story or what it is, the way it goes and the way it interacts with culture through the eras, it's just something else. It's just good. I still remember the night we were going to go see it. Mama C and I were at the theater. This is back in '94, over the American side where we are. And we were going to go see Natural Born Killers.
Oh, wow.
And we went to the store, back in the days of the movie store, the Record Town it was. We were in there first, and we ran into somebody, and they said, oh, Forrest Gump, you got to see that. That's amazing. So for whatever reason, we just changed our mind and went to see Forrest Gump instead, and never regretted it, although I do love Natural Born Killers in a different way. And my last
I do have to say real quick about that, though. Some of the technology that they learned and some of the things they learned in that moved on all the way to the Captain America film where they made Chris Evans look so demure in that way. I was like, holy crap.
Meeting with
the way they interact, the old film. It was impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last one I'm going to say is right off the cuff, but I couldn't include it in my top 5. I think I gave a sneak peek to this one last night on the show, Jeff. I told you about it, but I love this movie.
Oh yeah.
Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt. I can watch that over and over again. And
Never seen it still.
I like Saturday Night Live, the good Saturday Night Live actors, comedians. I love a lot of their movies like this, and I could even throw Coneheads into the mix maybe of this, because I could watch that over and over again. But those are the ones that I ruled out right off the get-go anyway.
I thought Coneheads was unusually good.
It was good.
I wasn't expecting it to be anything close to good, but I really enjoyed it.
Oh, my God. Do you realize what that means?
Is that one?
Jeff saw the movie, but that's not one of our top 20. So.
No, not one of the top 20.
Yeah. All right,
We
that's
watched
me.
it three times in a row. Jeff, do you want to go or do you want me to?
I actually modified my list while you guys were talking, so
I know, right? It's like
I've two of them got bumped out, and so now I have 3 that I can talk about. Right off the bat is Elf. I could watch that every day. I love Elf.
Do you know Peter Dinklage was in what Disney film in 2007? I just watched it today, never seen it. He was in Underdog.
Was that live action?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. It had Jim Belushi, Peter Dinklage, Patrick Warburton,
Howdy.
Putty.
and I think that might be it for some of the main ones. But then some of the vocal actors were like Jason Lee and the gentleman from what's the brother in Everybody Loves Raymond.
Brad Garrett.
Brad Garrett.
Yeah, Brad Garrett. He plays a Rottweiler in the name. He plays Riff Raff. So,
Did you know Peter Dinklage's brother? You know what he does?
Perfect.
No, what's Dinklage's brother do?
He's a classical violinist.
Really?
And he toured with Rush for several shows on the last tour, and he played Losing It, the one that has electric violin. And he grew up a Rush fan. And I had no idea. I didn't put two and two together, but Peter Dinklage is actually in, I think, one of the Rush videos that they put up on the screen, both he and his brother in the background, like during the show. So, yeah.
Is his brother's last name Dinklage as well? Is that the actual family name?
Yes, I believe so.
That's cool.
I
That is awesome.
would hope it was, because if you're going to try to
That's
come
a
up
weird
with
name to
Dinklage,
pick,
I hope
isn't
you wouldn't come up with Dinklage.
True.
Oh, maybe his name was even worse.
Yeah, there you go.
My other two were The Natural and Rocky 3.
Yeah.
Oh,
And even though I could watch both those, one thing that I do with those movies is like on YouTube, I've watched the end scene where the final bat with Roy Hobbs on YouTube. I don't know how many times I've watched it. I'll just go there and watch that, with the lights exploding. And I do the same thing with Rocky 3. I'll sit there and I'll watch that last fight. Between those two movies, I just watch like those two parts over and over. Although I do love both the movies, incomplete.
Rocky 3 was the Eye of the Tiger, right?
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Clever Lang.
Yeah, because that was kind of when those soundtracks started picking up, and they started doing hits on soundtracks. It was more of a psychological thing where they're like, no, we need a hit for this movie. Not that there weren't hits before. Like my thing earlier, I wrote it down for Poseidon Adventure, was The Morning After. There's got to be a Morning After. That was the hit they had off of that. So it started a long time ago doing that, but in the 80s, yeah. So it was like Eye of the Tiger and that movie, and then the fourth movie had hit after hit off of it, and then Top Gun was out and all that stuff. So,
another great soundtrack.
Yeah,
Top Gun.
Yeah.
That's a who's who.
Yeah, Mighty Wings by Cheap Trick. Lots of good stuff on there. Harold Faltermeyer doing stuff, and
Harold Faltermeyer and who? I don't want to get too sidetracked. There's another famous person on that title theme, the instrumental on the deck.
Is it Steve Stevens?
You got it.
Yeah. Phew. You had me for a second there. I'm like, uh-oh.
The music guys are out and hot.
There they go. Well, Kenny Loggins had a second career from soundtrack.
Yeah, he sure did.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
George Games listed 3 movies already. He's got A Knight's Tale.
Mm.
Yes.
Good movie.
Yes.
Get Smart.
Yes.
Joe versus the Volcano.
Well, and don't forget the name of Pete's next sex tape. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that not what that was intended to be? I'm sorry. Sorry.
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell it is.
Fastback listed Star Wars, the first movie.
The new one.
Harry Potter. Which Harry Potter, Fastback? I'm curious. And
Yeah, I'd be interested to know which one. I'm
Rocky.
assuming.
First
Rocky
Rocky.
is
that's a great one.
I have never seen a Harry Potter movie.
Really? Have you ever read a book? I mean, of Harry Potter?
No. The answer to both of those is no.
Can you read?
I wait for the movie, always.
Well, I have to say, a few years ago, we were down here, and I was talking about auditioning for a band, and my drummer just meant it straight business. But what he said was like, I was like, dude, are you serious? He goes, have they heard you? I was like, what the hell's that? And he goes, no, I just mean have they heard you? I'm like, dude, jeez, whiz.
Fastback also has Karate Kid and Breakfast Club.
Oh, Breakfast Club. Oh, that's when I just totally.
Yeah, we recently went up. I'd say it's probably been 5 years ago now, but the four of us and a friend of 64 Bits went up and we saw a showing of Breakfast Club in the theater up in St. John, New Brunswick a few years ago. It's just so different and so neat to be able to go and do that on a Saturday matinee of a classic.
Like that. We have a theater like that locally too. Plays the classic stuff, full blown.
That's cool.
AFI Silver Theater is great. Love that. But yeah, classic movie. Karate Kid also. Somebody mentioned we rewatched Karate Kid as we hit the Cobra Kai series, and
I still need to watch that.
Great. Oh, Cobra Kai's great.
That's what I keep hearing. What? What did you just? What is this?
700 Laserdisc movies.
Are you kidding me? Is there anything you don't need and we can talk? Because I got a Laserdisc player.
You have a Laserdisc, Stu?
Yeah.
I think I've got all of them. Yeah, more than 700.
Holy hell's bells, Relic! I'm totally interested if there's some stuff that you want to weed out and we can talk about it.
I remember seeing Popeye.
Relic.
Oh, is that right? Popeye on Laserdisc
player. We saw a bunch of movies. That one is burned into my memory.
I have the original Star Wars 4, 5, and 6.
Oh wow!
Look, Jeff, we can go up there and watch E.T.
I'm not going anywhere to watch E.T.
Oh, there it is.
I'm not going anywhere to.
You're not an E.T. fan, Jeff.
No.
E.T. was actually somewhere on the list of 100.
Actually, there's a little duality there for Jeff. He wouldn't go anywhere to watch it, but he wouldn't stay home to watch it.
No. I've actually seen it, and that's why I wouldn't go anywhere to see it again.
No.
It doesn't hold
So,
up.
Jeff, is that it for yours? You want me to do mine?
Yeah, that's it for my honorable mentions.
Okay, Relic. Well, let's keep in touch. Let's get because I'm serious. I'm totally serious. Let's talk about those.
I think one of those horror movies was E.T.
Oh man! Oh
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said horrible movies. Oh, look at that.
One of these. Wow.
Oh man.
There's
I got
Justin.
Do the
I've got
Laserdisc
some-
players? Do the Laserdisc players hold up? I know. I had a buddy that worked at a repair shop for video games, and I remember him saying like Space Ace and Dragon's Lair were horrible repairs because they all used consumer Laserdiscs. They didn't have like pro level kind of things. Do the home Laserdisc players hold up? I mean,
Yeah. Like I bought one used, and I think it's a Pioneer. I'm looking at it down there, and it's like a high end one. I had the first one I got was from my brother, and I got a bunch of discs with it. And then I bought a few more discs, like a Striper disc. I've got Iron Maiden 12 Wasted Years on Laserdisc. I've got a Queen double disc. And then that one crapped on me. But then just down the road from me, like 5 minutes away, I found one on, I don't know what the hell it was at the time, and Craigslist maybe. And I went over, picked it up, $100. He had barely ever played it. And it was like brand new. Even had the what's the screw called that holds the laser in place? It'd be like a, it's
that screw.
Yeah, it's that thing you have to take out to play it. But if you want to move, and you gotta put it back in the box.
Yes.
So anyway, but it still had that, and it works great. And it flips. It's the auto flip one too, where it'll just flip the laser around and play the other side too.
Flip it.
Yeah, and I got Firefox as another one of my favorites on there too.
Oh, that was on my. Oh, yes.
I looked at it over there. I was like, yeah.
Oh, love Firefox.
But again,
Blue Thunder.
Oh, Blue Thunder,
the
yeah.
helicopter version of Firefox, essentially.
Yes, exactly. Like Days of Thunder was Top Gun on a racetrack. So
yes,
that's pretty much it. All right, I've got Brian De Palma's very first movie, Phantom of the Paradise, which again, this was that movie where I was showing you guys Scum of the Earth on WKRP.
Yeah.
I had Michael DeBarris on it. And then the gentleman, I think the first guy that speaks in the band is in this movie. He's on stage singing. Another one is Rockstar. It's one of my all-time favorites. I almost could call it a guilty pleasure movie as well, but just because there's some moments that are that wouldn't really happen. But anyway, this is my chick flick moment. I love this movie, 13 Going on 30, because Jennifer's my gal. Love that gal. She's so cute. Here's one that I just found on Blu-ray. I flipped out. We were in Chicago in Wrigleyville, and we went to a used CD shop, and I found it on Blu-ray. I couldn't believe it. White Buffalo with Charles Bronson.
Oh wow.
So that's one of my I remember seeing it on cable all those years ago. And this movie, I tell you what,
Yeah, it's good.
I can't say enough about how awesome it is. And I was trying to decide which one of these I would pick. I think ultimately I'd go with the first one. Just because of its rawness. This one is always a huge favorite.
Classic.
Liar Liar can make it on the list, same reason. Here's two of them that I don't know if everybody's seen this. Have you seen
Love Chef?
The one reason I picked this is because I can still watch it, no problem whatsoever. But as soon as I saw it, I showed it to 3 other people.
Me too.
I just couldn't get enough of it when I first saw it. And I think it's barely an hour and a half. So it really fits on that deal.
You know, John Favreau has a spin-off show.
Yes.
Channel it's on. It might even be on like Netflix or something like that. And it's great.
It is
Celebrity.
Where the guy who trained him on how to cook certain things. He's in the credits. You can see him helping him make the cheese sandwich. And has everybody? I know Jeff, you haven't seen it, but have you guys seen this?
I have seen it.
Oh, what?
I've seen that one.
Well, I'm certainly glad I didn't insult you. I just mentioned that you probably hadn't seen it. That's all.
It doesn't seem like
I remember one of the shows. I was a real dick. But
I have not seen it.
You need to see it.
Okay,
It is fun. You know a bunch of the people in it. There's some surprises. I'm not going to tell you some of the people that are in it, and but you'll know a bunch of the people, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And lastly, is Once.
Oh, fantastic movie.
Exactly, JD. I mean, I can't get enough of this movie. This one is another one that's barely $1.50, and watch the little film about how it was made, because it's totally worth it. It had that year it won for Song of the Year for the song that they did for this movie. I could tell you the story, but I'll do it on Hammer Away. Maybe that's what I'll do for my show tomorrow.
My parents turned me on to that movie, and I've seen it several times since then.
So good, so well played, and again, I'll talk about it more. Let's get on with our other list.
Hey, George. Is it George Games?
Yeah, George.
George
Games.
Q.
Nice to meet you too.
Spelled with a Q, but we say George, and I believe his name is Robert, actually. If I remember correctly. So I'm just so used to seeing George Games.
How's the Beatles song go? Her name was McGill, but she called herself Lil, but everyone knew her as Nancy.
Yeah.
Her name was McGill, and she called herself Lil.
Should we just go around one movie at a time?
Yeah.
All right, we can do we'll just go JD, Lance, Pete, me, Stuart. We'll just keep the rotation.
Yeah.
And number 5.
Oh, we starting with 5?
5.
We're starting with 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me retool here.
Oh, I was going to say, let me put mine in order here then.
Yeah. So this is a toss-up. It doesn't even really matter.
I know, right?
Let's.
I probably won't go in any particular order, but I'll just do one at a time.
Let's see. Oh, this is tough because I love all of these.
He's gonna get hurt.
Let's get. Let's go Back to the Future. All-time classic. I love the whole trilogy equally almost. But the first one was just kind of groundbreaking. There's been a lot of time travel movies, but nothing quite like that. The soundtrack, phenomenal, of course. And both Huey Lewis songs hits. It's funny, the title theme song was not actually the big hit. Back in Time was not as big of a hit as Power of Love, but great songs. The one thing I love about this movie that I found out many years later was that when Marty McFly puts the Walkman on his dad, like to wake him up, and the tape marked Eddie Van Halen, that was actually Eddie Van Halen. And so just a bunch of guitar noise, basically.
Yep.
But many years later, I found out that was actually him. So even more so. And DeLorean was like my dream car growing up. Somebody in the neighborhood had one. So like everything about that movie.
Well, that's cool.
There's nothing like a bunch of those Christopher Lloyd reactions to different things. When the thing comes unplugged and he's like, woo!
And it was great seeing, because growing up seeing Taxi,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Captain Kirk, you're not going to give me the Genesis device. Okie doke.
It was funny last week. It's funny this week.
I know. I've been laughing at that for 20 years for music.
Definitely watch that one over and over again. Every time it's on TV, I see that movie. I watch it no matter what. And I own it.
Yeah. Well, Lance, what do you have for yours?
Okay, for number 5, again, going in a little different direction, pick The World's Fastest Indian, based on a true story.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Catherine, if you're listening.
Anthony Hopkins, plays New Zealand, Burt Munro, got a 1920 vintage motorcycle. And the whole thing is he wants to go to Bonneville. That's his dream. So he gets to go there in 1967. Now, the motorcycle, when it was originally made, only went 55 miles an hour. He did so many changes to it that he was able to reach over 200. And a lot of the records that he made in the 60s still stand today.
Wow.
Great movie. And it's one of those never give up on your dreams.
Well, let me tell you a little tidbit about that movie. I actually, on our show that we did with one of the shows we did with Tommy, I mentioned that because he said he liked that bike style. He likes that, and that's one of his favorites. And I said, well, they made a movie about that, and he goes, really? And I was at Menards one day, and I found a copy of it, and I bought it on Blu-ray and sent it out to him.
Nice.
So that's so funny you put that one up first. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was made in 2005, and it was a flop. And it's one of those. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to find, but it's well worth it.
Well, I can get one at Menards if anybody needs one. $8.99.
Perfect.
I just saw it the other day when I was in there.
And a sink.
And maybe a toilet if you need a toilet. And a sink.
There you go. If there was ever
I've been trying to get Catherine and her son to watch this movie, World's Fastest Indian, and it's just a phenomenal movie. Anthony Hopkins is great, and it's funny. It's fun. It's action-packed. It's great.
Yeah, you can get it's $12 on Blu-ray on Amazon.
There you go.
So
great day.
So I'm up.
All right, Pete.
Okay, this is a little bit different one too. I don't know how many people like it. Maybe people hate it. I don't know, but I love The Big Fish, or just Big Fish. I love this movie, and I love Ewan McGregor in it, and Albert Finney is fantastic, and I can't remember his name. That's right here. Oh shoot, he's in Almost Famous, right? The other guy, the main
Oh,
star, the son. Where is it? Oh my heavens, I'm not seeing his name.
I've never seen that movie.
Billy
I remember
Crudup.
when it came
Billy
out.
Crudup, so we'll make it up. But that is an excellent movie. It's a very I like it. Things a little bit more unusual, a little bit off the wall, almost fairy tale-ish, I'll call it, to a degree.
Yeah,
And it's about the stories that the guy's father tells, and the life he led, and it's just a mesmerizing movie. I really, really enjoy that one.
yeah.
I can watch it over and over again because there's so many there's visuals and different characters and good stories, and yeah, very interesting. Have you seen it, Stu?
No, I haven't. I'll have to check it out. I'm sure I can even get it from the library for free and check it out.
Yes. Yeah,
Or
undoubtedly.
it's probably streaming somewhere, I'm sure.
Maybe.
It is. It's on. I think it's on Amazon. I actually have
Is
it
it?
bookmarked. I've seen it a couple times. Great movie, but
Okay,
I'd
good.
like to see that again.
Well, I'll put that on my pretty soon list as soon as I'm done with the school year.
Quirky, fun.
Yeah. I remember when it came out. All right, Jeff, what do you got, man?
Well, just to recap, I have seen Back to the Future.
Okay.
Have not seen, was it World's Fastest Indian?
Right?
Have not seen that. And believe it or not, I have seen Big Fish of all
There's
movies.
Wow.
Right.
So I
We're
do
at
have
two.
two. So
We're two.
what? Maybe
Okay.
that. And my five is Jurassic Park.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Right on.
That is like Back to the Future for me, where if I see it on, I just stop and watch.
Yep.
You just like that animated DNA guy.
Did you see all of them?
I did see all of them.
We haven't seen the last one.
Yeah.
Same
wait,
here.
Wait a minute. So you're talking about the original three and then the two new ones?
Right. Jurassic
Yeah,
World and then
one of
the
new ones. I haven't seen
the
the
Jurassic.
second one, the very, very last one. Have you seen all?
So I guess that's what, five? So I've seen all five. I actually really liked 2 and 3 from the original, which I was shocked. I actually liked 3 a little bit better than 2.
Yes.
And the Jurassic World I thought was okay.
Yeah.
And then the second one I just thought was really bad. I mean, it was dinosaurs indoors. It was the weirdest thing. It was just bizarre. Yeah, I didn't like that one also, but I like Jurassic Park so much. So they can put another one out. I'll still watch it.
They should have had you at their board meeting for that one. Let's see. So you dinosaurs indoors?
Yeah, we've never done that before.
We've never.
Maybe because
Snakes on a plane, dinosaurs indoors. It works.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Whoop.
We'll see. Oh, Jeff and I have this. We have this co-power, and we bloop each other out. I did buy a Back to the Future set. In fact, that's on my list too. So what do I do about that if it's already on the list? If it's already been shown or talked about? It's just whatever. I move on. Or
I want to get there's a Playmobil set that for Back to the Future. There's like 3 different ones, I guess, that coincide with 2 or 3 of the movies. It's pretty cool. I mean, the DeLorean looks pretty spot on.
Yeah. Jeff, do you own Back to the Future? No? You don't? Okay. I have this if you want it. I'll just give this to you. Because I bought a whole bunch of discs.
I'm on mute the whole time.
Yeah,
that's why I was like,
no, I do
saw
not
his
have
head
the
go,
trilogy. I don't have the trilogy
Okay.
or any of the movies. And yes,
I saw your head move just slightly, and I'm like, I think he's saying no. So, but I bought a box of movies from a woman out in St. Charles or O'Fallon or something, and in it, the box was this, and look, it's still sealed.
Nice.
Oh wow.
So anyway, it's all yours, dude. It's regular DVD, but you know,
If you hurry, you can get it here before the show ends, and then get back to your place before the film ends.
And you can fast forward it and say you watched it.
So do I move on to another one or what?
But just go to your next one.
Back
Okay.
to the Future 2.
We go back in opposite order. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I had so many that were, we can move on because I had so many that were up runners up that just do the next one. Go to the next one. JD, go ahead.
Ooh. All right. I'm going with Stripes.
Wow.
That was.
All right.
I actually saw that movie with my dad as a double feature with Stir Crazy. And both movies were great, but I fell in love with Stripes right away, and I've seen it 100 times. I own it. Just absolutely great. And what can you say? One of Bill Murray and Harold Ramis classic.
PJ Souls, what can you say?
PJ Souls and
Sean Young?
Ron Young, yeah.
Yeah, the other MP was
Yeah.
Sean. She's in, was it No Way Out? She was in a bunch of other things.
And she was in one of my favorites that she was in was the remake of A Kiss Before Dying.
I have my Stripes Funko Pops.
Oh, is that what those were?
Yes. So I got John Winger.
Oh, nice.
We got Ox, the mud wrestling scene Ox.
Oh, that's right.
And we got Ziski.
That's great.
He's got a little like pad on it. See it. But yeah, one of my all-time favorites. That's another one I watch all the time, except I can't watch. There's a TV version, and it's just a waste of time because it's censored.
Yeah.
It's no good.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to watch that and Meatballs again.
Meatballs.
I remember the first time I saw The Jerk on TV. I saw it in the theater. But when they put it on TV, the dog's name changed to Stupid. I'm like, that's not funny at all.
No.
That isn't funny. You just unfunnied this movie.
I have to show you. I have to show you this at JD. You like Stripes. Can you see that? It's hard to get the. Oh, there it is up there.
Is that PJ?
Is that PJ?
Yeah.
From Stripes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he was in, remember Rock and Roll High School?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And that's remember the scene right at the very end where it shows
Yes.
the caption of it, the picture of her on the penthouse.
That's right. Yes. They all have the magazine covers. That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's like I'd love to send my album cover. Oh wow, look at that.
I have a Johnny
I bought-
autograph poster. They used to come into my dad's store when they were in town. He had a baseball card shop, and when they were in town and toured, they would always come in, and they were huge Yankee fans, and they'd always like buy stuff. And so we got to, they gave us tickets to one of the local shows, and
Wow.
fun.
Wow.
Nice.
Lance, what do you have next?
Okay, for my number 4, now I have the DVD. I couldn't find it, but I did have my VHS. Tombstone.
Oh, Tombstone.
Great
There
movie.
you go.
Tombstone. Amazing
That is a
cast.
good
Val
one.
Kilmer, Kurt Russell, Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton. In looking it up, I guess there's actually 3 directors listed, but a lot of the movies credited to Kurt Russell for actually the direction on it. Also in the research, believe it or not, when the movie was going into production, Willem Dafoe was supposed to play Doc Holliday. That would have been a
Really?
totally different movie. And
Wow.
Robert Mitchum, who was the narrator, he was supposed to play Ike Clanton. And they did a change there. Now,
Wow.
Tombstone also has a connection to Batman. Because, Val Kilmer played Doc Holliday and Batman. He was not the first actor to do that. Adam West played Batman and Doc Holliday on 3 different TV shows.
That is crazy. That is
The
some
TV
great-
shows, I've never seen them or heard of them, but it was Colt 45, Lawman, and Sugarfoot.
Oh, Lawman, yeah. Wow.
So that was a great movie
Sugarfoot.
from 1993.
Wow.
Wow.
Good trivia. That's great.
That is cool.
That's excellent.
I know back in those days, there was a lot of wardrobes that were being used, like Dances with Wolves, Tombstone, that they were running out of outfits to use for other movies. They were having trouble. I've forgotten which one. There was a big conflict, and they couldn't get enough costumes because another movie was using so many of those from that same time period. Pete, what you got next?
My next one's a little bit different, and this may surprise you a little bit, but every once in a while you need a musical, and believe it or not, I do like to sing. I like to sing when nobody can hear me, so keep it loud and songs that you know and stuff. But I just love this movie because it keeps your toes tapping and such. And it's Across the Universe, which is made around the Beatles. It's basically a story told using all the Beatles songs.
And speaking of Eddie Izzard, he does for the benefit of Mr. Kite.
Eddie Izzard does, absolutely, yeah. And there's all kinds, like Bono's in it and does I Am a Walrus and various songs. And I don't know, I just really, really enjoy this movie. It's the type of thing that you it could be on in the background. It's just the music and stuff that I love so much. And they make a decent story out of it, too.
Yeah. I remember my kids really getting into the music, and I just couldn't do it. I thought they were okay. The covers were okay, but I'm like, I just assumed that was one set of songs where I'm like, I don't know. I just assumed listen to the originals. I couldn't get into it as much, but my kids did love it. It came out when they were growing up, and they dug it and listened to that soundtrack and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Have you seen Yesterday?
I have.
I enjoyed
that a lot too.
Fantastic movie. That sounds like it's around the same vein as that.
Yeah. Yesterday is a story that's told, and then of course, something anomaly happens, and he all of a sudden is the only one who's heard of this music. Whereas this is just they take the songs, string them together, and put characters in it, so they sing it, and it becomes part of the narrative.
Yeah.
So
So
it is. Cool. Similar premise as far as using the Beatles music, but I loved Yesterday. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah,
that was a fun movie.
Quirky, fun one. Yeah,
that was well played too by everybody in that movie. I thought was great. Yeah. Ed Sheeran being in that movie and stuff was great.
Yeah, self-deprecating Ed Sheeran.
Self-deprecating, absolutely.
Yes.
What do you got, Jeff?
Well, my number 4 is JD's number 5. It was Back to the Future.
Yeah, see, and I already had this one. I had too, but it was.
I always New York was in my list.
I don't know why, but I equate Back to the Future and Jurassic Park together. I always see them as kind of together, and I don't know why, but I guess because they were similar times. Maybe I guess Jurassic Park was a few years later. Is that right?
Yeah, it was a few years later.
But I look at them in the same as in that. Anytime it's on, I sit down and watch it. Mm-hmm. I think those movies are about as close to perfect as you can get. I mean, like, I'm not bored at any scene. I'm never wishing. Right. I wish this scene would get over with because I want to get something else. It's like everything is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I wanted to kind of say that in the beginning too. That's how my brain works. I don't know if anybody else's brain works like that with movies. You're like, do I want to watch this movie right now? And you're like, oh, there's that scene. My brain will run right through the movie, and I go, oh, there's that freaking scene where they got to sit there and talk, or they got to do this, and I'm like, yeah, no, not gonna watch it. Whatever it is. So, well, I'm happy to be the first one to mention this series, but I'm gonna have to go with Empire Strikes Back. That's ultimately my favorite movie because they cut their teeth on A New Hope, and I love that. Barry,
it's Barry.
And then by the time they got to this one, it was outstanding. And then Return of the Jedi to me was just too Muppety. So, but that. Yeah, was awesome. Empire Strikes Back. I love the opening scene on Hoth and all that stuff. It's just great. So there we go. Back to JD.
I just cringed when I realized I missed one that I'll come back to if we have time.
Okay.
but it's almost criminal that I left it off.
Oh, we've got time, JD. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've earmarked for one to circle back to.
Okay.
So let's see here. These last ones are in no specific order. You guys might see where I'm going with this one. Pete will.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the foil.
Got to be Slapshot. Paul Newman. And I told you I might have some props. That's about it.
I'm listening to the fucking song.
Yeah. They brought their toys with them.
So many good lines in that movie. Great scenes. There's a couple cool trivia pieces in this. One, Bruce Boudreau, former coach of the Caps and the Wild, is actually in the movie when he was a player. He had played. And there's a very, very brief scene that if you search far enough, you can see the screenshot of him on hockey blogs and stuff. So that's kind of neat.
Wow.
But the other one that I noticed, I realized after watching Slapshot for, I don't know, like the 100th time, 200th time, I don't know how many times I've seen it. But I realized Killer Carlson, who's played by Jerry Hauser, also was in not Miracle, not the Disney Miracle, but the Miracle on Ice that was, I think it was like CBS or something like that. It was a TV movie back in the day.
Carol Malden was the coach, right?
Yep. And I'll get to the rest of that later, but OJ was played by Jerry Hauser. So he was in two very classic. I mean, I guess it's a classic for me. I mean, Miracle on Ice. It's not a great movie, but it was great to see at the time. That old TV movie, but I was blown away. I was like just thinking about it for a second, and I remember, one of the scenes where he gets like boarded in Slapshot, and it's like a close up of his face.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just hit me. I was like, oh my god! And I looked it up, and sure. So that's it. But yeah, that it just never gets old. And again, anything Paul Newman.
JD, is that okay? Not Slapshot. I have Slapshot as well, and it's one that I could watch over and over and over again. But is Miracle on Ice available anywhere easily accessible? You probably get DVD, but because I remember watching that in 1981, and that was incredible.
The TV one or the Disney?
Not Miracle. The Disney one is so that's propaganda film, but the other one's very realistic for these guys battling what they battle.
Yeah. I haven't seen it. I saw it on VHS, and it's really, really tough to find. They don't play it anymore. I think there's probably a lot of like licensing stuff, whether it be Carl Malden. And do you remember who played Jim Craig? Huge actor at the time.
I don't.
Steve Guttenberg.
Wow.
It was a good movie. It was a good movie.
I loved it. I mean, I watched that every time it was on. I had it I have it on Betamax somewhere, like recorded, I'm sure, on some unmarked tape. But yeah, that was one of those ones. It was like I would watch that to get hyped up when I was playing hockey, in a big game or something like that. I would watch that. And I mean, it wasn't a great movie, but it was gritty, and it wasn't overproduced.
I'm Canadian, and I thought that was pretty special. I mean, I can still remember to this day coming home from public skating when I was 11 years old and watching that the very end of the first period right through when they won that hockey game. I watched the entire thing on YouTube here, not within the last 6 months, since Christmas, let's say. And I don't care who you are, if you love hockey, that was absolutely amazing. And there's been very, very few, if any, upsets of that caliber in the history of hockey. So you got to love it. Doesn't matter where you're from.
That's what, I mean, that's really what got me wanting to play. I mean, I always wanted to play. Like I started watching hockey in the late 70s, but 1980 Olympics, that was really special. And I actually went to Lake Placid, visited it. My bucket list is to play there someday before I can no longer skate. But it was great. But that yeah, it was absolutely one of the greatest moments in American sports for sure. But it was an incredible feat.
I can't think of another one that would be better than that. I mean, especially at the time. I mean, you know how much the rivalry of U.S. and Russia was at the time.
Yeah.
The Russian mystery hadn't been broken yet. You didn't have Russians in the NHL until the mid '90s, which with Igor Larionov, Sergei Makarov, and there's one more. There's three of them that come over all at the same time. Fedorov was after, I believe.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Fedorov was quite a bit after. The very first was it was Calgary had one, Vancouver had one, and I can't remember what the third one was.
Detroit early on, didn't they?
They had a lot, but that was after these guys broke.
It was after, yeah.
Yeah, early, mid-'80s, about 85, they sort of broke it. 86, I think it was. And these guys, because Sergei Makarov won Rookie of the Year, he was 31 years old.
Yeah.
Right?
And
for
Tretiak never made it to America, but he was just one of the all-time greatest.
Right. But there was a mystery then. It was a mystery that the Russian team was just like, we're untouchable because that was their full-time job, 12 months of the year. They trained together. They did everything they needed to win. And, so phenomenal.
Did any of you see the Miracle on Ice documentary from the Russian point of view?
Red Army?
I can't remember the name. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, it's great. And there's another one. There's I don't know if it's a sequel to it. I forgot the name of it. But there was this big. Anyway, yes, the Red Army was it, and it was a fantastic movie. And the other one was there was some historical thing that I really didn't know about. The Penguins and a bunch of other teams got together, and I think Disney or somebody like that got together and purchased a Russian team. I can't remember the name of this movie. It's a bizarre and true story. And I'll shoot it to you guys if I can remember what it is. It's by the same guy who did Red Army.
It's not.
See that?
It's not. No, it's not Russian 5. What is that?
I don't want to take too much time on it, but
yeah,
I'll look it up. I'll let you guys know.
We always tend to go to divert over to hockey, don't we, JD?
I know that. I'm sorry, it's a curse, and there may or may not be another hockey-related movie in my. Originally, I think I had 5 hockey movies. I mean, I that was my 5 movies.
JD, the one-trick pony.
Oh, by the way, I just looked it up. The documentary I'm thinking of was a 30 for 30 ESPN documentary called "Of Miracles and Men."
Oh no, I don't think I've seen that.
Huh.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
It's
such a great idea to get the loser's perspective on stuff.
Uh-huh. Right.
Yeah. And check out that movie Red Army as well. Same thing. More modern, I think, take on that.
I'm looking at that now. I'm using my Apple to just sort of search to see if it's available on stream or whatever like that. And it's from Vyacheslav Fetisov, who was the best defenseman.
Yep.
And it's less than $8 on Blu-ray on Amazon.
It's really. And Red Penguins was the other movie.
Red
Penguins.
Yeah.
Red Penguins, Red Army. How about that?
Both very intriguing. The Red Penguins is a bizarre movie, and I can't even believe it's true.
Oh, wow. Man. Well, Lance, do you want to go? What do you got?
All right. My number 3 movie from 1963. It's a mad world.
Classic.
Absolutely.
Who's who of comedy from that era.
Amen to that.
It's Dying Words of a Thief spark a cross-country race to find $350,000, which would be close to $3 million in today's money. Spencer Tracy, Sid Caesar, Milton Berle, Buddy Hackett, Jonathan Winters, Mickey Rooney, Phil Silvers, Peter Falk, and a ton of cameos. Jerry Lewis, Buster Keaton, Don Knotts, and Norman Fell. So you had Mr. Roper and Ralph Furley.
Oh.
The movie cost $9.4 million to make. Now Jack Benny had a cameo, And come to find out, that role was originally offered to Stan Laurel. Stan Laurel turned it down because Oliver Hardy had passed away. That was kind of amazing. Ton of stunts in that movie. According to one website, there were 100 active stuntmen in Hollywood. This movie hired 80 of them.
Wow.
Well, those other 20 had to feel like crap.
Or they were just busy.
They were just being sorry. Yeah.
They're
And
all
there's
hurt.
a scene where Phil Silvers, he drives the car into a river. Truth is, he almost drowned because he couldn't swim.
Oh,
And also, most notably, it is the last on-screen appearance of the Three Stooges. They don't have a line; they're just standing there as firemen.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, and there's a bunch of different versions because it's been edited for TV so much. But there's a 3-hour version. I think that's currently fine. But I guess what I read was the original movie was 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
3.5 hours.
Yes.
So if you buy the DVD, which version do you get?
Well, I have two of them. I have one that's 2 hours and 40 minutes, and then there's a special edition Blu-ray I've gotten. This one here is the 2-hour, 40-minute version.
Yeah.
Which version do you like better, the short one or the long one?
The long one.
I guess 240. That's not exactly the short one, is it?
No.
Shorter.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, but the 3-hour has an intermission. I mean, it's got an extended beginning, long, almost like Dr. Zhivago, long extended musical intro.
Yes.
Yeah.
I finally watched that movie a few years ago and really enjoyed it. Dr. Zhivago. Who's all seen that? No, nobody else.
I've not watched it. No.
Wow. Yeah, check it out. It's
I always meant to. I never saw it though.
It's a crazy epic film, and it's very watchable. I mean, like 2001. That situation that we've always talked about, where you're like, I don't want to watch Dr. Zhivago. I mean, come on. But no, it's really, I mean, I don't know. I'm a romantic, so it's like, I think about that, and I watched it, and I really loved it. Really loved the film.
Did you guys see Rat Race? Because I believe that was based on It's a Mad World.
Similar premise, yeah.
Good, but it was good, but it wasn't as good as this.
It was, it wasn't nearly. So that was my number 3 pick as well, Lance. Believe it or not, that's why I'm holding it up, because you said that. It's like, oh my God, what's the chances? That was that was my number 3 pick as well.
Well, the question is, has Jeff seen it? Really seen it? Can we count that?
Well, I saw it as a kid. Did I see the whole thing? I don't even remember. I mean, it's been that long ago. So I guess actually you said I've never seen it, because I don't remember anything except I do remember, like, didn't somebody like run through a big W? Wasn't that like a clue or something?
That's where the money was hidden. Do you remember the gas station scene? The destruction where Jonathan Winters tears up the gas station.
I don't think so.
Well, there's a story behind it. These two guys tie up Jonathan Winters, and he's taped to this post. Well, in filming the movie, they went to lunch and left him there.
Oh,
he was not a happy guy. They came back 2 hours later, so he was not a happy guy when the crew came back. But it's a total destruction of a brand new gas station.
Have you ever heard anything about the filming of that? I mean, you got so many big people and probably big egos. I wonder how that went, filming.
I've seen some, but it's kind of a a nice piece. They don't really get in depth in it.
Who has top billing on that film?
Spencer Tracy.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also trying to look these up. Everything I'm seeing so far on Amazon for the DVDs or Blu-rays are 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah.
I think I have The Russians Are Coming. The Russians Are Coming. I don't think I have Mad World.
Russians Are Coming.
That was in those video discs that I got last week, right?
Yeah, I'm interested to know. I'm looking at a VHS version, and it doesn't tell you what the running time is.
What was the limit on VHS tapes?
Oh, I think it was.
So I know later on they came out with tapes that were like even longer than the original.
Yes.
Yeah, I think 120s were standard. Then I remember 180s, and then I remember even buying some 240s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the cassettes, man, when they did them, 90-minute, and then which was actually about 92 minutes, and then they'd have 100-minute and then 120-minute, which was not good. That wasn't good for your player to do that. So it's amazing the technology they come up with, which is going to screw up your equipment. And it's just like, hey, here's a thing that you can burn DVDs. You can make your own DVDs. Okay, well, it's illegal, but you can do it. And you're like, why are you doing this? But then you're like, well, it's illegal for me to make it and sell it, but I can make it and give it as a gift. Yeah. So, Jeff, what do you got next? Or Pete, sorry, Pete, what do you have?
That was the exact same movie.
Oh, that was yours. That was your same one. Go ahead.
Hey, no, that's hilarious.
That is very interesting.
You can watch that over and over and over again, right? That's just that kind of movie.
That's one of those things. I'm eager to get over there and see if I own it.
Let's see. My number 3 is the original Bad News Bears from 60.
That was on my list. Yep.
And it's actually, I think, I don't like a ton of baseball movies, even though baseball is my favorite sport, and I watch a ton of it. I always thought that movie was the most realistic baseball I've ever seen in a film. Everything about that movie seemed authentic. Like, I didn't even feel like I was really even watching a movie. Just the play of the kids, the way they interacted. They didn't act like Hollywood kids or typical movie kids. And it was just interesting because especially watching now, it's fascinating the language used by the kids. A bunch of slurs going all over the place. The entire team piled into Buttermaker's car. There's not a seatbelt in sight. Some of them are sitting on the back of the car because it's a convertible.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty authentic Little League as I remembered it. I mean, I played in 70s and
yep.
You're right. I agree with that.
You see the opening scene where you see all the fields and you see the sprinklers going. There's just something about that film that's very authentic, and I love Kelly Leak is right up there with Roy Hobbs for me. He was the best player in the whole league.
I think that was the first R-rated movie that I ever saw, and my dad took me to it. I believe that was R.
God, it probably was because the language, especially coming out of little kids' mouths.
And that my dad took me to that, and it
also had what's the kid's name from Court of Betty's Father?
Jack Haley.
Oh, I can't think of the boy's name from Court of Betty's Father.
Yeah, what's the guy though that was in
Jackie Earl something or other?
That's
Kelly Leak. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Brandon something.
I forgot he was in that.
Yeah, he was the starting pitcher for the Yankees at the final game.
And who was the girl? The girl was somebody famous.
Tatum O'Neal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, she was really good in that. There were some great shots in that dugout towards the end. It was getting really tense. Seeing some of the faces of the kids, they looked legitimately scared when Buttermaker was tossing stuff around, getting angry.
Did you see the remake with Billy Bob Thornton?
No,
it's good.
I just love the first one so much. I can't even bring myself to watch it.
I didn't see it in the theater. I refused to see it in the theater. I saw it. I think I saw it free, and it was really enjoyable. Is it better than the first one? No, absolutely not. But it's worth seeing. I mean, just to compare the two, it was a fun movie.
And my favorite scenes is the fight scene. And I know I've mentioned this before, but if you've ever seen two 10-year-olds fight, it's not the most exciting thing in the world. They don't know what they're doing. But the way they filmed it was fascinating. They zoomed really tight on the Yankees pitcher, Brandon Cruz. That's his name, Brandon Cruz, and Tanner. Because Tanner was the kid of the Bears who was willing to fight everybody.
Yeah.
And so they were fighting, and they zoomed in, and so everything was was like so fast. It was kind of an exciting fight scene, even though they're probably barely moving. But just the way they filmed it was great. And I love Lupus, that character. I mean, everybody knows a Lupus.
Is that like Michael Scott? If you don't know a Michael
Yes.
Scott, you are a Michael Scott.
And I love that line by Buttermaker to Lupus at the very end when he wanted to put him in the game, and Lupus didn't want to go in. He goes, I want to win. Don't put me in. And he turned to Lupus and he said, Lupus, did you come into this world just to sit on the bench? And Lupus got out there, and it was pretty cool. No, we haven't had a war movie yet, have we?
I was just about to address that. Yeah, I have two, but
Yeah.
I got cut. But yeah, I have two.
I never get into war
that
movies.
you would use for this.
What's that?
What's that?
I asked Cyril to give us some war movies that he would like.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and I like the I can't remember the name of the guys from Doctor Who. His picture here. Who are those bad guys? I can't remember them.
Oh,
The robot guys, Doctor Who.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cybermen?
Think of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Pete, you're starting up. What are you bringing?
What do we got?
All right, Stuart's up.
Looks like a trilogy.
This one I've mentioned before, and I just
Different
mentioned
one.
it
It's great.
because of
war
Charles, because we just lost Charles Grodin, and I mentioned this before.
Oh, you
this is
did,
one
yeah.
that
Let's get one.
I never get sick of watching this movie. The play between Grodin and Cannon is amazing. Jack Warden as the coach, who just is flabbergasted that somehow he's come back to life in this other, and it's, it's the LA Rams. That was kind of wild, when I rewatched it, and I'm like, oh crap, they're talking about the Rams. But just a great love story. Again, I'm a romantic, and this is one of the best films, and it's got James Mason.
Yep.
So he's a lot of fun, and so is why can't I think of his name? He was on Saturday Night Live. Buck Henry.
Buck Henry, yeah.
Buck Henry
really
plays a great anxiety-ridden, busybody that's the right-hand man to James Mason. And he's like, well, I just thought. And he's like, no, So I love that movie. Love it.
Here's a couple of war movies from Cyril. We got Big Red.
Oh,
Woman,
Kelly's.
Heroes.
Yeah. Kelly's Heroes was on my list. Yep.
There's two of them there, I think of. Kelly's Heroes, and what's the other one? The Dirty Dozen.
Oh, Dirty Dozen, sure.
And I almost picked up Where Eagles Dare. I almost grabbed that
I
one.
need to see that. I haven't seen that.
That's
on my
great.
list of things to see.
Yeah, I love it. And I love the book too. It's Alistair McClare. It's
And
Alistair McLean.
and Big Red One was Lee Marvin, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think
And,
that's right.
and Mark Hamill was in that, right?
Mark Hamill was in
Hamill,
that, yeah.
yep.
Didn't he lose one of his boys in that movie? Was he the one that lost? He was like, "That's why you got two of them," and he grabs it and he throws it. Do you remember that scene? One of his nuts. He loses it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one scene I remember the most is when Lee Marvin takes it and just throws it. He's like, "That's why you got two of them."
Oh, shit.
That's my one. It's a intense movie.
I guess would it be bad if I said that's nuts?
Hey,
He had some balls to do that.
No, only one.
he had some.
Only one.
Only one.
He had some ball to do that. Did you see?
Some ball.
So Bob asked, the Swing Kids count as a war movie? I've never even heard of Swing Kids. Have you guys?
I haven't either.
No.
Huh. Bob, you stumped us.
That's what she said.
I got two others, but I don't want to spoil
Modern-day
it.
war movie right there.
Oh, yeah, that's
Jack.
Full Metal.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Boys and Company C?
Uh-uh.
It's exactly. It was made probably 8 years before Full Metal Jacket has the same gunnery sergeant, Arlie Ermey,
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
and it's with Andrew Stevens and Stan Shaw. Almost the same. I mean, Full Metal Jacket's almost a remake in a lot of ways compared to it.
Full Metal, is that a Kubrick? Is that right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And that's got, what is your major malfunction?
That
Yeah.
was an intense one.
Yeah.
Almost
Because there's
two
also
movies.
like Platoon and
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Platoon's fast.
Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan.
I like some as sort of cheesy, like the Guns of Navarone when I was a
I
kid.
love Guns of
Yeah.
Navarone. I've seen
And
that.
I like
so many
Force
times.
10 from Navarone too, which
Yeah,
I think
Force
I have
10.
it.
It wasn't as good, but
No.
Guns of Navarone was
Yeah,
classic.
great movie.
Yeah.
Um,
Force 10 though was that was one of those movies on cable
Yeah.
with Harrison Ford that I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, what is this? And I watched
Mhm.
it all and enjoyed watching it. Yeah.
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 Wasn't that an Alistair McLean? Was that an Alistair McLean story as well?
I don't know.
Do you guys, anybody remember what I said about what war movie was written originally? The story was written by the guy who wrote Planet of the Apes.
Oh, you mentioned that a couple weeks ago. didn't you?
Oh,
I just thought I'd do a quick review.
I left my note in the other room.
Oh shoot!
Right there.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
I
Nice.
didn't see that again. I don't remember. I did see that, but
Yeah,
Guns of
Alistair
Navarone
McLean.
I've seen many times.
Yeah.
Well,
But I
then
did
do
see that. I need to
yourself a
revisit
favor.
Force 10.
Yeah, you should make it a double play and watch that and watch the Where Eagles Dare.
Yeah. I want to see
Yeah.
Boys from Company C too. I've always heard that was good.
Yeah. The guy who wrote Planet of the Apes was Pierre Boulle, and he also wrote Bridge Over the River Kwai.
That was one of the ones I was about to bring
Okay.
up. That and well, I didn't want to spoil it if somebody had. Does anybody have any other war movies on their list before I say no? Okay. Great Escape. And we talked about it before, but that is one of my all-time favorite movies. And yeah, I mean that is my all-time favorite. One of my all-time favorite movies. You can't watch that over and over and over. I mean, I've seen it a couple times, but that's a really long movie.
Yeah. Where are we now? We're
I'm just thinking the same thing.
We're up
JD.
to JD for his number 2.
Number 2.
You said
All right.
number 2.
So yeah.
We're ready for your shit, DG.
This is a tough one, and again, my we've already discussed hockey, and obviously you guys know my love for hockey and Pete's as well, and so it would be I have a prop for this one. Miracle. That is what Jim Craig is my idol. That's what made me want to play goalie.
Oh,
And
wow.
So that.
I'm sorry for crapping on the Disney one.
So yes, so here's the thing. So and I agree with you. I agree. No, but here, Pete, it is very Disney-fied, and you know one of the things is obviously the Herb Brooks speech. I don't want to talk about this. We spent a lot of time on hockey already. I don't want to dominate that, but that Herb Brooks speech in both movies was highly abridged for adult content. I heard.
Okay, yeah.
But and I agree with you. I still love that. It's not like this one replaced it. It's not like the Disney one replaced it. But there's a couple of interesting things about it. Eddie Cahill, the guy that played Jim Craig in this, was on Friends a bunch of times.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And so Kurt Russell and Kurt Russell's hairdo in this movie kind of like didn't sit well with me. But he grew into the role with me, and I enjoyed it. But so here's the thing: he's got ties to baseball, but he's also got ties to hockey. His son Wyatt was a goaltender, and he almost went pro. He got injured. And do you guys know what Wyatt is doing these days? He is actually, I don't know if he's technically an Avenger, but he is part of the series. And if you're watching any of the series right now, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who's not seeing it, but he is in one of the Avengers kind of spin-offs, if you will.
The Winter Soldier one.
Yes.
So I've three shows in. I got the last 3 to watch.
Okay, so
That's
you're already
right.
so but he was also in Goon, Goon 2.
Oh yeah,
He was the guy that fought I can't think of his name.
Sean William Scott.
Yeah, Sean William Scott. He was the guy that
Directed by Jason Eisner. Jeff.
It was really
Outside
Cyril. That was my
look at that.
he's the guy I want to meet. Like I've been fortunate. I actually met Trediak once at a Caps game, just random. But Jim Craig, I got to meet one of these days. But yeah, Cyril. Slapshot was a couple picks ago, and I have the Slapshot action figures up here. I can't really get them down.
Wow.
So there's just some interesting stuff with that movie, and the way it was shot, the making of that movie was really cool. How they did all the sound effects, and really a lot went into that movie to kind of preserve the hockey scenes. And I thought the hockey scenes were shot very well. Just set aside Snake Plissken's wig in that movie, and oh yeah, oh man.
Yeah,
that's phenomenal. I got what I should have done is I got my Jim Craig jersey upstairs, but
beautiful.
But I am representing. I don't know if you can see the back of my
Handsome.
Nice. Yeah.
That was just a leftover for Cyril.
So which handsome brother are you there?
I don't. It's representative of all three. It's an amalgamation of Hanson.
Who's up? Lance?
All right. For my number 2 movie from 1993, A Bronx Tale.
Wow.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro and Chaz Palminteri in the 60s. It's a coming-of-age movie for a young man as he has to choose between his dad and the local gangster in that lifestyle. Pretty good movie. The movie was originally based on a one-man play that Palminteri wrote and starred in. De Niro saw it and bought the rights to the movie.
Wow.
I feel like Lance knows a lot about a lot of things. To the point, I think you need your own channel. I think you should be doing some videos.
Yeah.
Whenever you're in chat, you always come up with whatever we're looking for.
There you go.
We usually just wait for Lance to answer.
That's been the thing about Lance. I still wish I could remember that moment where Lance threw me a curveball, and I'm like, wait, I thought we were on the same team here. What's going on?
Was it a music one? I think it was a music. I think
Was it a music?
Is that what it was? It was something that you liked, and I was like, damn it.
Yeah. Was it like a rat reference or something? Something like
No, it couldn't be Rad. I don't think so. I
thought it was
don't
a
remember.
versus like, Aunt Esther versus B. Arthur or something, and that was it.
No, nothing as serious as that.
No.
That's a heck of a matchup, though.
That is a heck of a matchup. Speaking of which, here's a picture for Cyril and everybody else of JD's collection here. This is the.
Oh, so okay.
Yeah,
There's the
right.
Pop
Yeah,
Shot.
that's nice.
And my Muppet, my Electric Mayhem.
Yes.
Yes.
Critique of
Yes.
the Electric Mayhem.
But the Slapshot figures, and by the way, a buddy of mine, Mitch, I'll give Mitch a shout out. I don't know if he's ever going to get to see this, but he actually has the Slapshot figures that are bloodied. There's a special edition that there's blood all over them.
Perfect.
And I never knew they existed.
I flipped out when I saw that picture that you sent us. I was like, "What is that? The Slapshot?"
Yeah,
Guys, I'm like, this is.
I was in. It was like a Walmart, or not a Walmart, like a Target in Boston. I was up there visiting family, and like you would never see that in the DC area in the early '80s, where I'm at. But of course, up in Boston, it's like they had a whole rack of them and sold.
Wow. Wow. Lance, so is that you next?
Or you went.
He
No,
went.
Bronx
Pete,
Tale. So it's me.
Pete, what do you got?
There's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a
Pete.
pack of cigarettes. It's dark out, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
On a
I
mission.
love it.
Go.
I can watch that over and over again. The music, the comedy, I love it. It's just a great story. I love it.
I own that too. One of my all-time favorites, and it was on my list. It got edged out for various reasons, but absolutely, I've seen it at least 100 times.
I love the scene when they're in the fancy restaurant and John Belushi's coughing shrimps in the dead Edward's mouth. They're trying to call the waiter and they call him Gargoyle.
Oh, Gargoyle.
I love the Ray Charles scene in the music store.
On the
The guys are trying to rob him.
Gun.
yeah.
There's just so many good cameos and
Well, heck, that chasing through the mall.
Well, see, I was gonna bring that up because didn't they get in big trouble for that because they did so much more damage than they said they would?
Yeah, and it was one of the most epic scenes and expensive. I think it was expensive too.
Yeah.
And that maybe Frank Oz makes a cameo.
Yep.
Yep.
Bail bondsman.
He's the warden or he's in the cage.
Or not the bail
Cage guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
One
gives
prophylactic.
I use
One prophylactic.
You think that's the best Saturday Night Live film?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's hard pressed for any better.
it's that and
I love
Wayne's
Wayne's World
World.
too.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. Yeah, Wayne's World. And I guess Spinal Tap technically, I guess they first performed on Saturday Night Live, but I don't know if it's technically
I don't
I
ever consider it that way. But
No.
There's another movie night theme right there. Saturday Night Live films.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because there have been some duds, but there have been some real hidden gems too, really, over the years. That are well, we talked about Coneheads, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
How would Adam Sandler fit into that? Because
Not could be indirectly, right? But there were some great movies. Were there any?
were there any of his films? Well, I guess was Tommy Boy.
No.
Sorry,
I'd say 8 Crazy Nights.
That would be the closest.
is that about it for him?
That would be the closest to tie.
Yeah, because of the Hanukkah song, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
weird.
doesn't
So
matter.
many movies and they're not really SNL related.
Yeah.
What was it? The Ladies Man.
Tim Meadows.
Tim Meadows. I didn't mind that at all. I like that movie.
Oh, I like that movie. Yeah, I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
Night at the Roxbury.
But
Well, they said the character.
Another one, Sleeper.
They said the Ladies Man was based off of Venus Flytrap, WKRP.
Was it? That makes sense. Or are you making that one up?
No.
Really?
Honest. I read that because when I was trying to find, pictures and stuff to send, and I ran across the website.
It makes sense. It totally makes sense when you think about it. The whole image.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned. Didn't we mention Dirty Dozen for war movies earlier?
We did mention
Yeah,
that.
that's a great one.
Because somebody said the other one, and I said, "What's the other one that I love?" And it's Dirty Dozen. It was. Yeah. There was also another one. I think there was one with Ernest Borgnine that I really liked too. But I'd have to look it up. But those were movies that came out that Force 10 from Navarone, Kelly's Heroes, Dirty Dozen. Those were like staples on cable when we first got cable on whatever it was. Cineview. We used to have Cineview, and then there was HBO. Cinemax came along later. But when we first got cable, those were movies that were on.
I got 2 more. Ice Station Zebra. Was that Gregory Peck also?
Yes.
And 7 Days in May.
Yeah. Yeah, Run Silent, Run Deep was another one that's became an Iron Maiden song too.
That's a good call.
So
Strange Brew. Love Strange Brew. Take off, you hoser.
That's an SCTV movie, not a
Yeah,
That's SCTV. Yeah.
Well, first thing we got to do is get a toque when we come up and see you, right? Is that what we got to do?
cool.
If you want to throw back
I
to
can't even do
Strange
it.
Blue,
And a beer.
Strange Brew.
The beer we can handle.
See, I'm all ready. I'm all ready to go.
That's right. Oh, that's right. SCTV. Yeah.
There's so many of those guys that made movies together, but yeah, it wasn't based off of SCTV. They just happened to be from
And-
Well, they were Bob and Doug McKenzie started on SCTV.
I'm late to this party, but I found out very recently that Rick Moranis went to school with Geddy Lee, and that was the connection with Takeoff.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
I
cool.
can't believe I didn't know that. It's almost as big of a Rush fan.
Well,
I didn't know that.
but that happened with me and Toby. Toby is a huge Bowie fan, Toby Jepson, and I sent him a video recently. Well, recently, and it was of David Bowie in the '80s with Peter Frampton walking around in a I don't know if it was Borneo, but it's in a foreign country, and they're just walking the streets together. Oh no! Anyway, I know what it was. I can't remember it now. But anyway, I said, "Hey, look at this! Two school, chums hanging out together again." And he goes, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "They went to school at the same time. They weren't in the same class. Bowie was older, but Peter Frampton's dad was one of Bowie's teachers."
I didn't know that until recently either.
Yeah.
I think I looked
So
at we saw Frampton again. I don't know, last year or 2 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
Found out.
So that's kind of wild. Yeah, 12 days. 12 days of Christmas. And a beer and a tree.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was that Bowie World War II movie?
Oh, jeez.
Let me look that up while who's next.
Vaguely. The who?
Who's next? And I'll look that up while the next
I'm
person's
next,
going.
but
Who's next?
you just said something, Stuart. I can't remember what you said that triggered this. I mentioned this last night on our show with Pete. You were saying about someone was a big David Bowie fan, but you sent him something they didn't know about. I'm the same way with Devo, and this fact that I just learned like a couple months ago that they were that they also would appear as a band called Dove, the Band of Love, and it was a Christian rock band, but it was Devo, and they would open for themselves.
Yeah, you were mentioning. Yeah,
but it's Dove, the Band of Love. They just moved the Devo letters around and came up with Dove. I just think that's like the funniest thing ever, to open for yourself. What a genius
that's
idea.
Brilliant. That is brilliant.
My number 2 is 16 Candles.
What?
Oh, wow.
Yep, Catherine, if you're listening, that's one of her picks. That's her favorite.
Nice.
Oh. Between
the cackles back. Okay.
The cackle's back.
Yeah.
Cackle in the background.
The cackle in the back.
I heard it all night. I was starting to wonder.
Oh, she just got home, actually.
That would be the reason.
But things that Farmer Ted would say, and of course the long duck. Was it long duck?
Long duck
Dong.
Long duck dong. Okay, the donger. There we go.
The donger needs food.
No more Yankee my wanky.
No more Yankee my wanky.
Oh, that's for the place to put in my hand.
Wasn't he on like ER or Sin Elsewhere or something like that many years later?
He was in
one of those.
Was it Grey's Anatomy? It was something you watched, wasn't
it? Or Grey's Anatomy. It was one of those hospital.
Yeah.
Kitty Watt Dalby or something like that's his name, right?
Yeah.
What's
Daniel
that?
Watanabe, it's,
Danny Watanabe, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, the actor? Wait a minute.
yes.
You talking about Farmer Ted? Oh, that was
Long Duck
Oh, that
Dawn.
was Anthony Michael Hall.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about Long Duck Dawn.
Oh yeah.
Long Duck Dong, yeah.
There's so many classic moments in that movie, though. One I liked when they were in the gym, and Jake came up to Farmer Ted, and Farmer Ted's like all nervous because he thinks he's going to get beat up. And Jake goes, "Just relax." And so he's like doing one of these, and then he starts jogging in place in a circle. And it's like,
Oh man. George is talking about Chronicles of Narnia movies. They stopped making them. I guess they made 3 of them. I was done after the first one. I saw the first one and I did not like it. I don't like what Hollywood does to certain, especially to certain female characters. They screw them up. You know, like the Star Wars movies screwed up, and in the Narnia movie. That's why I like the Narnia movie. Two come to mind: the Narnia movie and Harry Potter, the first one, because in both films they just kind of make the female characters unnecessary at one point in their thinking, because in the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, at the end, Lucy has this potion. She can save anybody. She can heal anybody. Well, in the book, he's kind of like, well, if this does this, and then she goes, oh, I could do this, and he's like, you got it. But in the movie, he kind of like tells her, and you're like, just let her figure it out. I'm sure she's pretty smart. And then the Harry Potter film, she's good at what? Hermione's good at potions, and that was the end of the first book. Ron gets him through the chess, and then he's cool. They're like, okay, we'll be back, and they move on. And Hermione, the next thing is potions, and she can help with potions because she's brilliant and she has those. So she helps with in the Hollywood movie, they're like, no, you just play nursemaid to Ron, who's actually fine, but whatever. And then Harry just moves on. So they strip that away from her, and that just kind of pissed me off. So anyway, there's my rant on fucking Chronicle movies and why they had to stop making them, because they sucked.
Hey, Bob has an interesting thing here. I didn't even think about this. He said, if I'm on a desert island with my wife, Sabrina, while you were sleeping and only you would need to come with us. That's interesting. That's a whole different thing. If you're on an island with somebody else.
That's right.
I guess your whole list is
that would be different.
I guarantee I would have a lot fewer hockey movies.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I forgot while you were sleeping, but I brought this. I mean, come on.
There you go.
Now, at my house, though, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, ours too. Yeah.
Because I did see what Catherine said about it earlier. So,
oh yeah,
we
watched back to back Escape from New York and Escape from LA.
What did you think about LA? I have them both on Laserdisc.
I mean, nothing tops New York.
No, and they're just so.
Yeah, it wasn't as good. I mean, I saw it in the theater when it came out. I remember seeing it in the theater.
I think I did too.
The first one's so much better. And
yeah. Oh yeah.
Ernest Borgnine, and I mean,
I guess maybe because the villain or the whatever was just so lame.
I agree. I think we had that same conversation. Yeah.
It wasn't anybody that you're like, okay, just take this little asshole out. I mean, that's it. We're done. You're finished, you whiny boy. You know, it's not like freaking these other spooky characters that you're like, you know.
Yeah, and I thought the cast
better in the first one.
I thought the cast was better too in the first one. You had Donald Pleasance, Lee Van Cleef. I mean, it's great.
And some of these movies, I don't know why they don't choose to make them as gritty. You know, that's been my complaint with the Blade movies. That first one was gritty, and again, the way I define the first Blade movie from the second Blade movie is Sean Connery and Roger Moore. The first Blade movie was Sean Connery. You're like, he may not make it out of this. He might get a laser up his crotch. I don't know what's going to happen, but but then, so you're like, Blade just might not make it. He's in a whole area with all these guys. But the second movie, first scene, it was like freaking Roger Moore. You're like, whatever. This guy's not going to get hurt. Every movie makes it's perfect. And you're like, no, that's not the way it goes. That's not how it is.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up the Roger Moore, Sean Connery thing. I mean, I had a few Bond movies in mind, but then I figured this is impossible. Like, it is not. It's not going to happen. Like,
right.
That was before Christmas.
Unless the box set rule was relaxed.
Right. Was relaxed.
Entire collection.
Unless the tightened grip on the box set is let go a little bit.
I hate to say
I've
been adding movies to my list right up until about 5 minutes ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still my number one. It's pretty solid, but the other two, it was just so tough. And it's funny because the other two didn't even make my top five, but I had, like you, Pete, like I had a rationale for everything. Yeah. Whether it was sentimental from childhood or whether it was something that had an impact on my life, or whatever the case is. But man, in the last few seconds, I'm
From Russia with Love is good, and it made a very good video game too. It was good. We have that for the Xbox.
Somebody said Skyfall.
No, George, no.
It was a great film, but Casino Royale.
No, George, no.
I thought
take it back, George.
I thought the new
that should be called Shitfall.
Well, I didn't. What was the last Bond movie? I didn't like that. Spectre.
Spectre, yeah.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that. But Casino Royale, as far as like the newer series, I loved.
Especially that scene where he had that rope knot and he was smacking him up the crotch, and he starts laughing. He goes, "What are you laughing about?" And he's like, "Wait till I tell your friends you were playing with my balls," or whatever that he says. And I was just like,
was that the line?
Damn, that's cold. That's brilliant. If I could keep my sanity being hit in the nuts like that, I would say shit like that too. Skyfall. This was a classic.
You had two crotch comments tonight.
And what about and there was the big red one? I think there were a number of references to the new
that's right.
Yeah, number one.
I'm gonna change the title of this show. The laser up your crotch.
If you had to pick,
Viking stew and the nut capabe.
This is one of these movies. Skyfall is one of these classic movies where there's me and my friend Kevin.
Yeah.
And it's like this with Con Air, same thing. And you're like, oh, Skyfall. And at the same sitcom comedy moment, I say, it sucks. And he goes, great movie. You're like, it's just like, I'm like, wait, what did you just say? And he goes, I love that movie. I go, it's a piece of crap. It's one of the worst pieces of Bond crap ever. It's so disjointed. I got the shot. Then take the shot. No, I don't want to take the shot. And kapow. And the next thing you know, you see his ass walking up the beach. I'm like, what? Well, certainly they're going to fill this gap and tell me what the hell happened. Nope. Nothing. Nothing. He just made it. And now he's alive and hanging with some woman on the ocean, on the beach. You're like, well, what? And then you've got this freaky, weird gay dude that's got some hard on for James Bond. And you're like, what? Who is this? I don't even know who this guy is. He just comes out of nowhere. and he's got a chubby for James Bond, and I'm just like, what? And then he's got this. Then there's this side door in the house, and you're like, well, they're going to use that later. And I'm like, this is stupid. It's a whole movie's telegraphed. Then you're looking out in the field, and there's a torch. Guy's got a torch, which is, of course, British for a lantern or a flashlight. And how do you even see the light out there? I can't even. It's so stupid.
Well, we could devote a whole show to which Bond you have the biggest chubby for.
Another crotch one.
Oh. Where are we anyway? What are we? What now? Whose turn is it?
It's me.
Stuart's
it's me.
number 2.
Stuart's number
My
2.
number 2.
He's been on for 20 minutes.
Thank you. Okay.
Spinal
So I
Tap.
don't need to mention the one that I was struggling with. So yeah, of course.
This is one of those that it took me a minute. It's one of the, because there's so many films, right, and there's so many reasons. But this one, if it would be like I'd be stuck in that room going, damn it, I should have gotten Spinal Tap. Where's my head? Because it's wonderful, and all the players. This was the beginning of the Christopher Guest stream of consciousness movies, and all of them that came after are brilliant as in their own right too. Best in Show,
Yeah.
Waiting for Guffman.
Yeah.
There's Mighty Wind.
Yeah, the folk,
They're just
one. Yeah.
yeah, they're just awesome, and but that especially because it ties to Eddie Van Halen with that story with Thomas Dolby, where Thomas Dolby made a joke about it, and Eddie just looked at him coldly, and he's like, "That's not funny, man." And he's like, "Oops, sorry."
You know, they actually recorded together though. I don't know.
They did, yeah. Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah, and it was that whole time frame where they spent time together is when Thomas mentioned that was one of his first moments. There's an article out there. It's got the 5 things that he took away from a weekend with Eddie, and that one just kills me.
And with Spinal Tap, of course, like any musician knows that any of us have experienced at least one of those. I mean, most of it was parody, but it's all kind of based on.
Oh, it's totally based on truth, like the Cocoons, where the bass player couldn't get out of the Harry Shearer's character couldn't get out of the cocoon. That happened to Angel.
Yep,
That's
the set design.
Reality.
I'm sure set design, Stonehenge, all that stuff.
Yes.
But I have to say though, I don't know whether you remember, but Nigel Tufnell endorsed the Marshall JCM 900 high gain amp. And it actually went to 11. I had one.
Goes to 11. Yeah.
It actually, truly, and it was hilarious because there was a cardboard cutout in the local music store, and it was like pointing to the. It was hilarious.
Still, that one of my all-time favorite moments in that movie is there's a gazillion of them, but one of them is, of course, when he's looking at the guitar, and he goes, "Don't touch it." Well, I wasn't going to touch it. I was just pointing at it. Well, don't even point at it. Don't. Let's go over here, actually. So, yeah, just great movie.
And Pete will appreciate it. One of my favorite scenes is when they get canceled in Boston. And they go, but don't worry about it. It's not a big college town.
Yeah.
And
that one, and when they play on the Air Force Base.
Howard Hessman's in that movie briefly too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
And Paul Schaefer. Yeah.
That scene is great.
It is great. Kick this ass. I want you to kick this ass right now. That's
Fran
great.
Drescher.
Oh, Fran Drescher. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
That's another, I can watch over and over, and I own it.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I'm gonna link the last 2 movies now with one of my number ones.
Go for it.
I'm glad.
Go for it, G.
I'm glad I don't have to fight with Spinal Tap. It's chosen and It's out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're up.
Well, what do
JD.
you have? What's your last one, JD?
Oh, it's me. Oh, so well, can I give my one quickly followed up by my alternate number one, or do I
Yeah.
wait for the alternates?
Do it.
All right.
Do it,
After much deliberation, and I was still really thinking about this throughout, and Stu mentioned something about it that jogged my memory about it too. But Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh,
wow.
Just everything about that movie. And the movie starts out with Damone scalping Van Halen tickets. I mean, that's like just perfect, sets the tone for the movie.
yes.
You know, sadly, there were no Van Halen songs on there, and they actually tried, supposedly, but they had a Hagar song on there.
They
but
did.
the soundtrack, and, you know, a lot of those actors went on to big things. Forrest Whitaker, who's the red-haired kid? Can't think of his name. One of the stoner dudes in the van. Was Eric?
Oh, Eric Stoltz.
Yeah, Eric Stoltz.
Eric Stoltz.
Yeah.
The original one, Back to the Future.
Back to the Future, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's Fast Times. Just everything about that movie. I watched that over and over and over again. It never gets old. You knew somebody like each one of those. Like if you went to high school during that era, you knew somebody like each one of those. Almost like what Jeff was saying in the Bad News Bears, you know, like if you played Little League or any like kid sport type stuff, you always had some experience like that. And so my alternate, and we talked about this when I was in the chat the other week after Charles Grodin's passing, Midnight Run. One of my all-time favorites. I watched it again recently. That movie never gets old, and that was another one my dad turned me on to. He turned me on to Charles Grodin in the first place, but that movie and that soundtrack to Midnight Run as well is just really special. So, but that was really tough. But Fast Times, I guess, has to win out because I've been watching that movie ever since it came out.
Wow! And what was the Cars tune that they played during the Phoebe Cates scene?
Oh, Moving in Stereo.
You mean there was music?
Yeah, sounds like there was music playing.
There was music.
It was me.
And was it like Eve 6 or something like that? It was like Stacy's Mom, the song, and they recreated that for the music video.
Oh yeah.
They recreated that like whole pool scene.
There was music.
And there's some great interviews with Judge Reinhold and like what actually transpired in the bathroom that freaked Phoebe Cates out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's some funny stuff. I mean, nothing too bad, but it was just there's some great outtakes on that. But then, and also, Stu, I think we even talked about this on the show. Who was the famous rock star that is in that movie making a cameo appearance?
What famous rock star made a cameo appearance in Ridgemont High?
The two clues that I would give would probably give it away. Let's say this person had close ties with the producer of the movie.
It wasn't Nancy, was it?
Yep.
It was Nancy Wilson.
Yep, in the car, the sports car next to Judge Reinhold when he's wearing the stupid pirate costume.
Yeah,
he doesn't,
right.
he's like this, he's like, and he realizes he's still got the pirate costume on, and she laughs and drives away. But I didn't know that until many years later. I didn't put two and two together.
I'll have to watch that. I've got it over there. I'll have to watch. That's one of
that movie just to me never gets old.
I do that every summer. As summer approaches, I think about the time that I have, and I want to start my day this way and do this, and I'm like, oftentimes I'll start it with a movie or something, and so I always every summer I like pull movies out just a little bit. So I'm like, okay, there's the movies that I want to watch this summer, and that's gonna probably have to be one of them. Just to find out if there really is music during that Phoebe Cates scene.
and how many people got Vans after that? Like black and white check Vans after that? I absolutely.
I'm getting ready to buy a new van. And you know what it's got in it? A
What's that?
CD player, but wait, a cassette player.
Oh, nice. Oh, no,
There you
not
go.
a van. Not. Oh, yes, a van too. I just thought about that. Vans,
Yeah.
the shoes,
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
the shoes,
Vans,
yeah.
the shoes. Yeah,
and
totally.
the founder, just passed away. Actually,
I still want to get me some Iron Maiden vans. I still need to get some Iron Maiden vans.
Those are really cool.
So, yeah. So, Lance.
Okay, number one movie. I guess you call it
Okay.
I guess you call it a buddy movie from 1994, Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
Tip Robbins,
Oh,
Morgan
wow.
Freeman.
It's a great
Came from
movie.
a short Stephen King story.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, the movie flopped when it was in the theaters. A couple of reasons. One, the name. But when it came out in 94, it went up against Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction.
Oh, wow.
So just bad timing. And
Yeah.
the roles, the Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman, they were not the number one choices. Come to find out,
Interesting.
for the Tim Robbins role, imagine this. Production company, they approached Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp, Charlie Sheen, and Nicolas Cage.
I can't.
All
Imagine,
of them passed.
and I can't imagine any of those people in it.
No.
I can't either.
Nicholas
And-
Cage.
And for the role of Red, the Morgan
Yeah.
Freeman role,
Right.
Clint Eastwood, Harrison Ford,
Uh,
Paul Newman, and Robert Redford.
Those are
Strong
those are
actors,
kind of,
that's a totally different movie.
yeah, those are a little
Wow.
more likely, but the other guys, no way.
Yeah.
That's real interesting.
Yeah. So
Still the
Shawshank's
number
one of
one
those
movie
movies.
on IMDb, is it not? It has been for years. The number one movie on IMDb, number one rated
Is
movie.
that right?
Oh, really?
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow,
I know.
that's a fantastic movie, though.
And it's one of those, when you guys were talking earlier about a movie that you find on TV and just watch it, then
Yes.
you just happen across it. That's a movie for my wife. She is, and I'm the classic guy because I know what I've got in my library. I am constantly telling her when she gets to something that had commercials or whatever. You really don't have that happen anymore, but you'd get to she'd have it with commercials. I go, honey, I could go downstairs and get the movie right now and put it on and you could finish before this is done. I could just start it from this point and you'd be done. And she's like, it doesn't matter. I just love to watch it. It doesn't care if it's got commercials, But that's one of those films. That one and Signs is another one of hers for if she bumps into it, she will watch it.
Signs is great.
She'll watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Pete, what do you got, buddy?
Well, I gonna sort of, like I said, I just added one 5 minutes ago. So the original pick for number one, it could have slid in pretty much anywhere, and you may never have heard, but I don't know. But I always have loved this movie, Excalibur.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Excalibur.
Which
Yeah.
1980
Williamson.
come out, and it's more for nostalgia than anything. John Boorman, and many people may have never heard of it, but I still think the best telling of the King Arthur tale going.
what?
Well, I still think it
Come
is.
on. Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Okay.
Come on. That's
Okay.
let's
There's
not
another
go,
one
let's
that
not
could be
go
on your
there.
list
It's
if
a
you
silly
watch that
place.
over and over again, right? But that movie just for whatever reason, 1980 when it came out, it means a lot to me. I really enjoyed it. It's always been one of my favorite movies of all time. But
I
to go back to
totally
long-
love that. I totally
Go ahead.
love that you nailed something on the nostalgia list because that's
yeah,
totally important to me. That's a huge thing to me.
So,
I
Bugs
remember
Bunny,
watching-
Bugs Bunny in King Arthur's court doesn't hold a candle to Excalibur.
it's weird because JD will appreciate this, but the advertisements for that movie, and I think I was 12 or 13. It's a restricted movie, so I was surprised. I went to see it, but
Yeah.
during the Montreal, Minnesota Stanley Cup playoffs in 1980, and Montreal had won 4 straight cups. And of course, as JD well knows, I despise the Montreal Canadiens. And that was the year that Minnesota knocked them off, upset them in 6 games or 7 games, whatever it was, 7, I think. And that commercial for trailer for that movie played that whole series. And I went to see my brother-in-law took me to see that. The brother-in-law who had the Intellivision from and all that took me to see that movie afterwards. And that movie I've always loved that movie ever since. Anyway, but I'm going to replace it because I'm going to associate it with Long Duck Dong, Getty Watanabe, and what was the other one you just said? Oh, Fran Drescher from This Is Final Tap. And what movie are they both in? Red Snapper, very tasty.
Oh wow, man!
Good choice.
This is my all-time favorite guy. I like him. I don't know, like I like comedy. I like weird things. And I said that right off the get-go with some of the movies I picked. Like I just like unusual things. And UHF, man, it's really well done, and it's almost like skit comedy stringed together into one, and it's friggin' hilarious. Fran Drescher's great in it. Getty Watanabe is great in it, and
it's got Kramer in it.
Weird Al live, go see it. It's amazing.
Yeah,
say that again. What?
Kramer's in that. Michael
Richards.
Yeah, Michael Richards.
He's Stanley Spadowski, the janitor who becomes the big children's TV show host there. But if you haven't seen Weird Al live, go see him when you get the chance, because he puts on an amazing show.
He's a great musician, and Stu and I were talking about the other day, and I was watching a talk show at one point. I didn't realize Rick Derringer of Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo and Hang On Sloopy and all the Edgar Winter stuff. I didn't realize their connection. Rick Derringer produced all of his albums and played on, I think, all of them.
Derringer?
Rick Derringer played on Weird Al's albums. I had no idea about that association.
Weird Al has basically the same band right now that he had in 1980 when he started.
When he does it live, but he played on the album and produced the album.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Gotcha.
Crazy.
Right, yeah.
Well, I think I told
he's great.
I think I told JD this story, but I went to the NAMM show, and I went to the Ludwig booth, and there was John Bermuda Schwartz.
Yeah.
Well, my friends, they love Weird Al, and they've seen him multiple times live. Mainly it's Brad, and his big influence has brought to the family this love of Weird Al. And so I met up with him there, and I got him to autograph a picture for Brad. I come back home, didn't say anything to Brad. Nothing. Show up at the door. I said, dude, guess who I met at the NAMM show? And he goes, John Bermuda Schwartz. I'm like, what are you doing right now? What is going on? And he goes, I go, how did you, and I hand him the picture. I go, how did you even do this? And he goes, I don't know. I just thought, who's somebody that would be linked to somebody that you knew I would like? I was like, I don't know how you did that. Yeah. I just flipped. I flipped.
Hey, Pete, wasn't there an actor like Emo Phillips or something like that in that movie?
Emo Phillips did a little bit part of that as well, where he was he cut his finger or whatever like that. He was
No, the reason why I brought him up because I remember on VH1 early 2000s they had a special on Weird Al, and they talked about that movie. They cut to Emo Phillips, and he showed his residual check. It was 16 cents.
Wow.
Well, this
and I was like,
a massive flop when he put it out.
No.
You know,
No, it's a cult.
But it's a cult classic, though.
Yeah.
Exactly. It come out against like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and the movies in 89. The movies that come out again were 89
was Batman.
Oh yeah,
Batman and Ghostbusters 2. Because Ghostbusters 2 was a flop.
Yeah.
Oh, it was horrible too. I mean, God, what a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, OEB Pete and Luke Boudreaux joined.
Hey guys.
Pete,
hey guys.
Luke had some great movies. He had them up there a second ago.
Up in Smoke,
oddly enough, I was just getting ready to watch Up in Smoke. I was looking through my collection. I'm like, oh God, I bought that a while ago. I got to watch that again.
I have my gamer hat on now. We got
there you go.
Luke and OEB Pete and everybody, so I had to put on the television.
Speaking
that
of
is my favorite movie, Cheech and Chong movies, Up in Smoke for sure. I did a skit on Rebel Gaming Club for that, like the one I showed last night, Jeff. And Kentucky Fried Movie is, who the hell is it? It's John Landis, right? John Landis.
Yeah, John Landis.
And the Zucker brothers from Airplane.
From Airplane. It's hilarious.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it had a bunch of just great.
It's cheap. It's cheap, okay? It's like made on the shoestring budget.
Oh, yeah.
It's fantastic.
And it has boobs in it.
There you go.
I remember that. The shower scene.
There was music. What?
Right.
Catholic girls in
young.
trouble.
I was very young when I saw that, and I think I saw that with my parents. And
No, you didn't.
awkward. Oh, I
Awkward.
mean, my parents were pretty cool. I mean, we saw everything, but there's always those
Well,
brief
cool
awkward
is
moments.
cool is cool, but when you're watching Catholic girls in trouble and they're it's like a porn in a shower and they're groping, the guy's groping, and then right after that you got women chained up, topless. You're like,
I was much older. My dad turned me on to it. Like, I think it was after Airplane came out and stuff like that. And he was like, "Oh, this is where it all started."
yeah.
And, so yeah, it's good stuff.
That's
Wow,
like you told that
crazy.
story about going to see it with your parents and stuff. I can remember back in 1999, Mama C was about 2 months away from having Connor, 64-bit. So we go to see South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. And we're sitting there in the little theater. And beside us is this woman with about 4 little boys, about 8 years old. And we sat there and watched this small theater.
I need a Disney movie.
People in there. And we watched this movie, and it's like watching Terrence and Phillip. And after the movie, we all stand up to leave out, and the woman gets up, and all the boys get up to walk out. And she goes, "Well, that's pretty good. We got to see what Kenny looked like." I thought, "Oh no!" That was her comment. Oh, we got to see Kenny's face.
My first movie that I experienced that my parents, I don't know exactly why I was there for this movie, possibly because they couldn't get a sitter. Kramer versus Kramer, which I later saw, which is a great movie. But the do you like fried chicken scene, the woman walking around like naked. And of course there's this quiet scene, and me as this kid that didn't realize, there were other people in the theater, I think I exclaimed something like, "Oh my God." You're just erupted. And parents were just like sinking down into their seats. And of course, it was a pretty serious movie overall. But that's an unforgettable thing. But I saw the movie many years later, and it was a good movie.
Oh man. Oh, what's this? And here's one for the Vine Kiss Me's. Oh yeah.
There you go.
I've got it over there in my music collection. And you know what? The original one that they did here in the States was, campy and but you see the version that they put out on the Kiss box set, and it's the Japanese version where in these little scenes where they're walking through the park, they interjected one from each of their solo records. They interjected like Mr. Make Believe from Gene's album and a track from all of their albums into little scenes where there was no music originally, in those Phoebe Cates moments, but the interjecting that music really made it a better movie. You could watch it and go, God, this is horrible. But when you watch that Japanese version with those songs put in, a geek like me is like, wow, that's from the solo records. This makes it so much better, instead of me just watching these guys walking around, and not attaching it to any music. So anyway, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So OED Pete has some too. Oh, Porky's.
Yeah, right. I think the first R-rated movie I went to the theater to see was Phantasm.
Wow.
I was 15. I was supposed to meet friends there. Yeah, the ball with the spikes in it and in the mortuary.
Yeah.
Such a horrible movie. God. And I even watched it. I bought it. I was like, hey, I got to have it. And then I watched it and I'm like, oh my God, this is so horrible. For many reasons, but
Pete, I had Jurassic Park on my list as well.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Jurassic Park was
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic had that scene with the waterfall in the second movie, which was actually in the book in the first book. That whole
So who's up? Jeff, you're number one.
A couple of things. Three things first. One, we learned that when Lance sees boobs, he goes deaf.
Yeah. Well, so much for Can't Stop the Music. Show Lance Booth stops the music.
Laser focus. Laser focus.
What a brilliant takeaway.
Lance is eating the popcorn. Head's not moving. When you're talking about Weird Al, there was an interview with the Knack, and they said that they kind of jump-started his career because they had heard a tape of his for My Bologna.
Yeah.
And they were passing it around to people because they thought it was such a great parody. I know. Did you say 1980 North Stars beat the Canadians?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know you were excited about that, but that was the same year I was pissed off because Willie Plett scored the game winner, and I think it was Game 7 against the Blues from beyond the blue line, and got past Mike Liut, one of the great goalies in the NHL. And I mean, you're talking, what are we, 41 years later, and it still pisses me off. Willie Plett, that lunkhead, scored a goal from beyond the blue line.
I think it was Willie Plett's second goal of the game, was it not?
It might have been. Oh, that was terrible. But my number one is one that's on no one's list. I have mentioned once before in a movie night, and that is Dan in Real Life.
Yes, that's right.
I absolutely love that movie. That stars Steve Carell, and the basic storyline is his whole family gets together like once a year in Rhode Island where his parents live. He has two brothers. They all bring their wives or kids. They all show up and just hang out for like a weekend or so. But the guy who directed it, I can't remember his name, but I just thought the direction of the movie was as good as it gets. There's several scenes in there that I thought were amazing. And for any of those people who go to watch it, my favorite line in the whole movie is, and I won't tell you the what am I trying to say? The context, but my favorite line is from Steve Carell. This corn is like an angel. If you ever watch that movie and you hear that, you'll know why it's my favorite line in the whole movie.
Peter Hedges did the directing.
Yes. He's only done a few movies, and I went and watched there was another movie of his.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Oh, that was a good movie.
The Odd Life of Timothy Green.
I've heard of it.
Ben is Back. What's Eating Gilbert? Let's see. Map of the World. About a Boy, and Pieces of April.
Pieces of April is the other movie of his I've seen, and that is really good as well.
About a Boy,
which is a
great
song.
He's a great director, and it's like you never hear him mentioned at all.
That's a great Three Dog Night song.
I guess because he's never had like a big blockbuster hit. I guess probably What's Eating Gilbert Grape's probably is. I'm guessing that's probably the one movie that's probably sold the most.
Yeah, that's a good movie. Oh, Jeff, back to your comment on parodies of My Sharona. You know, there's another parody.
There's like My Trombona.
No. They're
Nine Coronas.
What's that?
There's one 9 Coronas.
Yeah, but there's another one by actually, I don't know whether it was actually both of them, but I'm saying that it is Cheech and Chong's My Scrotum.
My Scrotum. Yeah.
Back to the crotch.
That was in the next movie. He was singing it in the van.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Back to the crotch.
The whole show needs to be devoted to that, I guess.
This isn't a parody, but there's a Japanese punk band called Polysix, and they did a cover of My Sharona. It's completely bizarre. I actually really like it, but it took me like 50 something seconds into the song before I even knew it was My Sharona.
Wow.
It has a weird entrance, and then the rest of it is you can definitely hear My Sharona, but it sounds very different, almost like Devo doing Satisfaction.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like the original song at all. It's just completely different.
Right. Yeah. One of these days, Jeff and I are going to do that show about our whole knack experiences.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
I got to do some stuff with some audio and get that done. So I guess it's up to me on my last one.
Bring it home, Stuart.
It's rock and roll again. And I do have to say, Jeff, I'm surprised that were you just done talking about it? Because 2001 hasn't shown up tonight.
No, it's kind of like Pete said. I think you said you didn't have your favorite movie on the list, and
There weren't a lot of sci-fi movies.
yeah, and the movie's too long. I got stuff to do on that island.
And who can watch a movie when there's boobs? So
I'm trying to figure out how the heck to get off this island. I don't have time to watch a 3-hour movie.
So are Marianne and Ginger on this
3-hour
island?
tour.
it took me 3 hours to get here. I don't have 3 hours to watch a movie.
It is weird. That certain movies you kind of like, even though they're not your favorite, you tend to watch them more often. Like,
Yeah,
You do.
I can't even tell you how many times I've seen that movie, and I don't think many people even know the movie, but it just hits with me for some reason.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. That's a good point. Good point. And I appreciate that you didn't do that. I mean, because I was for certain that you were going to do it. But this is one of these movies that I don't sit. What are you doing?
I think there's a bug in Pete's room.
That's it.
Is Pete
The
being a
dog is
cat?
freaking out here.
Pete's like being a cat. Like,
It's a video game eating moth.
I hate when my cat does that. He parks himself right in front of me and looks over my head. You're like, what?
You know what I always thought would have been a good game is the Karate Kid scene with the chopsticks trying to
fly catching.
Fly. I thought that would be a great game.
Yeah.
That's in the NES game. Part of it.
Is it?
Karate Kid NES, this little mini game inside of it, trying to catch fly.
They stole my idea. I'm gonna apply for royalties retroactively.
You beginner luck.
They pre-stole it.
Real quick before Stuart does number one, speaking of video games, and you're wearing a video game hat there, JD, is anyone pre-ordering the Evercade VS tomorrow?
Day after tomorrow.
What's that?
Day after tomorrow, right?
It's a couple of days, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's tomorrow. It's 27th. This is 26th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It goes
tomorrow
on-
morning?
It goes on sale tomorrow morning, my time at 4 a.m., so 6 a.m. for you, Pete.
Right. Oh, I thought it was good because I thought it was Friday.
Oh, no. They'll all be gone by Friday.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it, but it looks really cool. I was talking to Pete about it. Like, I really want the handheld. Like, I mean, I love the idea of the verses, but like, I mean, I have a lot of game systems, you know, the classic stuff, and I don't know. I just like the idea of having something portable. I wish that, and I know this is asking a lot, but bundle, because you can use the Evercade as a controller, like the portable as a controller.
Yeah.
Having an option to bundle that. I thought it would be kind of cool. Like one of the controllers you could get as the Evercade portable. Maybe that's just me thinking out loud.
The portable is really good, JD.
Yeah, I want
It
to,
is.
but like I like the idea of being able to plug it in and using it.
But the one that's really, the one that pre-orders tomorrow is the Founders Edition.
Founders.
Yeah, the black.
Black, and I've got the black handheld one, so I'd really like to get this one.
I didn't know there was a black handheld one.
Limited edition.
Oh, just like that. Okay.
Yeah.
It looks really slick.
But I have my alarm set. I don't know if I'm going to wake up though in time.
I'm still bummed I missed out on the Founders. Everybody has heard me whine about it, and it's nobody's fault but mine.
For you, Miko.
Man, I would have loved to get that Founders Edition in Miko.
Yeah.
Huh. Look at that.
Yeah.
Well, the Founders, the Evercade, what's that, like 260 or something like that?
Yeah, it comes with like 3
2 controllers, 6 games.
Yeah.
I mean, games alone are $120.
Yeah.
So for the system and an extra controller, it's so basically you're getting the second controller for free if you look at it that way.
And all the games, are they compatible? I mean, so
all the cartridges are compatible except for the 2 Namco titles.
Really?
Okay. Not compatible at this moment, only because they signed a deal with Evercade for handheld only. But I assume they'll renegotiate and get it so they'll be able to.
But what does it do? I mean, it like unlocks the 2-player mode of those other games.
Yeah, all the games that have 2-player now, when you plug it in, it'll just be available.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'll probably end up getting at least the handheld. But
so that'll be nice.
That's what's like the 4 arcade cartridges, and then I know the Intellivision collection, and I forget what the other one is.
Yeah,
Bitmap Brothers, I think.
Bitmap. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So you have you're the anchor here.
Well, this is one of those movies that I don't watch it with a lot of people very often, and I really want to buy you a copy, Jeff. So there might be a copy that just shows up at your place sometime.
Ooh.
Because it's basically, we've been talking about WKRP, and when I watched WKRP today and listened to the Venus Flytrap talk, it was very much the Cleavon Little version from this movie.
Yes.
I don't know how many times I've watched this movie. I told you about I bought the soundtrack years ago, and it's got everybody from Doobie Brothers to a lot of these artists that were on here were all from the same label. So it's got a lot of these same, actually, I'm sorry, not the same label. They were from the same management. So a lot of the folks that were on there, Linda Ronstadt makes an appearance on here. REO Speedwagon makes an appearance on here. Tom Petty and Jimmy Buffett are all in the movie in their own musical performances and ways. And that's why when I met Bruce Hall in REO Speedwagon, I told him, I said, dude, you joined the band at just the right time. They did the live album. He was on that. And then they did the FM. He was in the movie, and they were autographing the live album. I'm like, you found just the right time to do that. Oop. There went John.
JD.
Yeah. So, but this is a movie about a FM radio station and the things that they were trying to do business wise, and sending what they call a sales flunky in to try to beef up the money that they're making at the station. So, but yeah, when you hear Cleavon Little and the stuff he does in here, and then you watch the Venus Flytrap stuff and the stuff he says, it's very much the same. Okay. So, and it's got Alex Karras is in it, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Excellent.
So,
but
it's one of those movies I can just keep watching it. I never get, if I'm kind of like, what do I want to watch? I first bought it on VHS. I have a laser disc. I have a regular DVD. I made a DVD of it from my stuff, and I got Blu-ray now, so it's like crazy. So
right on. There he is.
There he is.
There he is.
So, all right.
Nobody had any Jack Nicholson films.
No.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest will be the closest one for me.
For me, Going South just missed the cut.
Oh, that's nice.
Shining, or what was the courtroom drama?
Few Good Men.
A Few Good Men.
I love Few Good Men.
I really liked About Schmidt.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I liked that one, and then I also liked As Good as It Gets. I thought that was really good too.
Yeah.
And of course he played a great Joker. Whether you think those movies are good or not, which I don't think they're great, but they're entertaining.
He did a good job. Yep.
But he did a great job as Joker.
Yeah.
Cyril said Blazing Saddles. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love that movie.
And Mel Brooks. I mean, the History of the World and Blazing Saddles. Those were two that were on my list.
I have of him. The only two that I like are Young Frankenstein and History of the World. That's it. I don't like
I know
any
you
of
don't
the
like
other stuff.
Spaceballs.
Hate Spaceballs.
It's so
Rise of Skywalker and Spaceballs. Might as well just put them both in the trash.
There you go.
Don't step
Tell
on
us-
them.
tell
Don't
us what
burn
you
them.
really
Just
think
put them
to do.
straight in the
Well,
trash.
I remember as a kid, our local CBS channel would show Blazing Saddles. It would be the Saturday night movie. And for me, that fart scene, they took the fart
beans?
sounds out. So they would just stand up.
Yeah, the campfire and the beans. Oh, it's
No sound.
classic.
It's like, 2 minutes or whatever long the scene is. This guy standing up, sitting down. It's like, that's horrible. Just cut. What the heck are they doing?
I think it's been kind of deemed politically incorrect these days, but
it would be 6 minutes long nowadays.
Yeah, but still, it's.
Well, that's like one of my favorite comedies. One of my fellow, it's a teacher at my school. He was like, he was talking about Weird Science, and he's like, there's just no way you can make that today.
Weird Science was on my list, and I haven't seen it forever. But that's the thing. You watch it over and over again. I think I've seen it maybe twice, and I enjoyed it, but I don't have a lot of recollection over why that would be. And we don't have to get into that here, but
right. But, so I thought, I get it. I really wanted to make a joke about my favorite films being Steven Seagal films. I really wanted to do that, but I didn't tonight.
Just a cook.
I've got
just a cook.
Two of my top 5, Sticks and Candles and Bad News Bears. If they were done today as is, it wouldn't fly.
No.
War Games, absolutely. War Games is one of my that is on my list, and I don't even know why it got edged out, but I've seen War Games just zillions of times.
And if you have YouTube Premiere, if you have that package, then you can watch it. It's out. It's one of the movies that's out there. I threw it on the other night while I was working on some stuff. And so I opened up a window on my other monitor and just had it running while I was working on some stuff. So it is a great movie. And God, he's so young. Broderick is so young.
And Ali Sheedy.
Yeah.
But
watching it during this show.
What's that?
I've been watching it during the show.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah. There was also another good hacker movie back in the day with Robert Redford and
Spy Games?
Sneakers. Well, yeah.
Sneakers. Yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry. Spy Games was good. Sneakers. Both of those movies have very dated technology, but the story is so good that if you're into, I'm into the computer side of things, so I love those movies. But yeah,
those are great. And it's if for anything, especially if you grew up through that time frame, and especially if you were actually working on computers at that time frame, and when you're watching War Games and he pulls out that huge ass disc like that, and slides that floppy in, you're like, oh my God, it's like this, it doesn't even make sense.
Yep.
It's like looking at a laser disc. You're like, that just didn't even make sense. It's just a huge record for a movie.
Oh yeah. And one of my coworkers actually, when he lived out in California and worked for a computer company that actually it was their company's computers that were used in the movie. I can't remember the name of it, but they actually did the video displays too of the war game, of the actual war games with all the missiles and stuff like that.
Wow.
So it was really neat. And it just so happened we were having a conversation one day. It was really cool.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah, Mission Impossible. Yeah.
That's a great movie too. That whole series, I don't know, maybe I stand alone, but I've loved every one of those.
I need to rewatch them. They have them at the library. I can check out the series, but are they streaming anywhere? Does anybody know?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Uh-huh.
They gotta be.
Like Night Gallery. I mean, that's another one where, it's got some interesting episodes, and a lot of it's kind of boring, but anyway.
Yeah.
What's this one? There's something that we're
Something not a lot of people knew about.
CD caddies. What is that?
I don't know a CD caddy. I had a CD like carousel
Yeah, yeah.
that had like I don't know 4 or so discs. I don't know about CD caddy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm very.
I just think it's weird when I'm looking through all my old tech and I'm thinking about the old zip drives, using zip drives. We thought that was cool because you get 100 meg on a disc, and now we're talking.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. All the way back from the 5 1/4 discs. I had like an Apple IIe, and they kept on getting smaller and higher capacity.
Yeah. 3
I would imagine for kids when they're playing a game and it goes to save, and some of them show the 3.5-inch floppy.
Yeah, what is that?
I'm sure they're like, why do I keep seeing that? Why do they keep showing that whenever they say? If I don't know what it is, I mean, why would they know?
Yeah.
That's classic. And then what were the other ones? What were the other drives that
There's the Jazz drive, which was the bigger zip drive. And so I was doing video editing and stuff like that in college. So we used the Jazz drives. They went bad all the time though.
What was the thing that was right before the zip that had the bigger cartridges?
SideQuest and Bernoulli.
SideQuest was like almost like a cassette.
Yes.
It was like and those those went bad too. I mean, I had all that stuff.
Yeah.
But George, he's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Put the CD in that little thing and you slide it in.
Right.
I had that on an old Mac. Yeah, those were weird, aren't they?
Yeah.
Think back, like, why?
Why would they even have? Right. I had one of the first CD burners. Like when I got into like multimedia and interactive production, like early on in college, and we pulled our money together and bought a CD burner and made some money back on it, and paid for it before we graduated. Actually.
Wow.
But just looking back on it, like, oh my God, was that expensive? Like.
Yeah. SideQuest, that's what it was that I was trying to think of.
Well, before that, you had the cassette tapes.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
I had a Timex player, and you had a regular tape player, and it made all these squeals and whoops.
Yeah, the VIC 20 and the C64 had that.
Yeah. And I had that for my Commodore 64.
I had for a minute the Coleco Atom. That computer would play all the ColecoVision games, but it was a tape drive based system, and it broke. We replaced it like 2 or 3 times, and we're like done. It just was not well executed. I still want to get the Intellivision computer. I think that's there's a few of them out there.
The ECS or the master computer? The ECS is the
ECS one. Yeah, the ECS is the one that has the game, like the baseball game.
Yes.
Yeah. That would be cool. And that we talked about the synthesizer that was short-lived.
Yeah. Those are gettable. The master component is not. It's like $5,000 to $8,000.
Wow.
For that, but and that doesn't even mean it works. And there are just so few of them out there, right?
I think Tommy's probably got one, right?
He does, yeah.
He probably has about 3 of them boxed, I bet.
Oh, wow.
He seems to have a lot of things boxed, like sealed.
Yeah. He's got a great collection.
Well, the one I've seen him show was a Dave Chandler. I just remember Chandler, the guy who designed the Intellivision. He has that guy's master system.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Or master keyboard component.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tommy and I, when we're going back and forth on the threads, I've never gotten to talk to him, but like we always end up talking about Van Halen somewhere along the line, whether it's a quote or from music or whatever. So that's great. I love that he's a big Van Halen fan and also plays guitar.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, should we call it a night, guys?
We are 5 minutes away from tomorrow in Papa Pete land.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's right.
Pete fell asleep a half hour ago.
I just want to thank you guys for having me on, and I've always enjoyed like being in the chat room. So this was
awesome.
Really appreciate it.
On, Vinny. And Papa Pete.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
You're a regular on movie night, and thanks, Lance.
Yeah. It's always great.
A lot of great movies talked about tonight.
Yeah, no doubt.
I know I'm
And
gonna
some-
wake up. I'm gonna wake up at like 2:00 in the morning and go, "Oh man,
Yeah.
that one."
I would have been upset if I had gotten through and forgot this. I did pick this out like halfway through, but it's like I would have been upset if I had forgot that because that song is God. I'd watch that forever.
Yeah. I
That's
just couldn't wait to get home from work today for a couple of reasons, but one of them was just so I could go through my collection and go, okay, what am I not thinking of?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Oh, excuse me. Well,
oh, look at that. Before we get going, look at that. Thanks, George. I appreciate
Right
it.
on,
We
George.
appreciate that.
George.
We appreciate that. Thanks
Very
for
cool.
everybody for chiming in. Some great chime-ins tonight about movies that maybe we weren't mentioning or hadn't mentioned yet.
yeah, really.
And you know, especially War Games. I still see it on my feed right there where it says War Games. I want to finish watching that because that was so well done and so well acted for something of that time frame. So
I might watch it again this weekend.
I think that's what I'm going to do too. Yeah.
I watched it just recently, actually, within the last couple of months.
Yeah, and what a great song by Crosby, Stills, and Nash. The title track. Check out the title track to the movie.
That's right.
By Crosby, Stills,
Yeah.
and Nash. Yeah. It's like 2 minutes and 50 seconds long. It's not a long song, but it's a great one. Really great. Really great.
Pete, you want to take us out?
Go. Game.
Game.
Gone.